Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All In channel, host Sega Forever here. I know this is kind of out of the ordinary. I normally do my podcast on Friday night, but where I live, we've been having a lot of high winds, almost like hurricane status. And so my internet's been really bad. In fact, we lost internet on Thursday, didn't have anything Thursday night, which was interesting for me because I didn't realize how much time I spend on my computer. I don't have cable, so I stream a lot of my stuff on Netflix, which I enjoy, right? And all of that, dude. And when I didn't have the internet, it just reminded me a little bit how sometimes it's kind of good that you turn stuff off and take a little bit of time to think about things a little bit more thoroughly instead of having stuff just constantly in your face. So I actually enjoyed it, if I'm being totally honest with you. Hopefully, the guys will be able to join me today. Like I said, this is out of the ordinary. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, so this is why I'm doing it now because I'm pretty sure 100 is going to have a stream. I don't think Sega Man had a stream earlier today. Um, if he did, I didn't see it on my YouTube. Hopefully, I'm not stepping on his toes either. But we won't be here long, guys. Just a couple of things that I want to talk about. State of Gaming 2023. Just some stuff that we have to touch on as far as the Xbox community is concerned. You guys know I'm a pro Xbox channel. I really don't care about any of the other consoles. I have no problems with them, to be honest with you. Right? They occupy the gaming space just like Xbox does. But my focus, as you guys know, if you follow me on social media, if you follow this channel, if you watch my videos, and you watch my content, you guys know that I'm pro Xbox and that I only occupy the Xbox ecosystem. So, oh, here we go. Here we go. Hey, what's up, Sega man?
What's up, Sega Forever? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, sorry, dude. Did you do? Were you gonna do a podcast today?
Nah, you know what? I was gonna take a break today, but I don't mind definitely doing one with you, man. Yeah, no problem, man. I just wanted to take a little break today. You know, probably do one. I might do one tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted to take a break today. I was spending time with the family, and stuff like that, bro. But I wanted to take a little break today. Sometimes I don't like to do them every week because there's not that much news. Trying to get into like doing them like every other week just to make sure like there's enough stuff to talk about,
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, I was I mean, there's stuff that I definitely will get into. Because I haven't been able to do videos, as you see.
Yeah. What's up, Rita?
Hey, what's up, ODT?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man.
Yep, you're perfect.
Good.
I can hear you loud and clear. So before we get started, guys, I do want to apologize because I'm doing this like during the middle of the day, so you're gonna hear trucks going by, you're gonna hear people fighting in the street, you're gonna hear dogs barking, you're gonna hear people in the background.
No problem, man.
So so what ended up happening, man? We've been getting these high winds here, and they're kind of like hurricane level gusts.
Oh wow!
And so the power's been knocked out in some places. I lost internet connection,
really?
So I do video. Wow. Yeah. And then I had internet last night, but I was kind of worried to do it, just because it was spotty,
Yeah.
Man, look,
I just paid my internet bill just recently, so.
Yeah, dude, and that stuff ain't getting any cheaper.
No way.
What was that?
But so I was basically, and then plus I'm playing Game Pass as well. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I know Reaper, man. I wanted to ask you if you played that robot game.
No, but I have the Harry Potter game.
Oh, did you get it?
I do. I'm 7 hours in.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Sega Man, did you get that?
I didn't get Hogwarts Legacy. No, I didn't get that.
That game is so much fun. I gotta admit though that LGBTQ issue with it is starting to grind my gears. I got into a one-on-one debate just now with one of the females that I know about it, and she doesn't want to know anything about the game because of the issue that it contains.
Oh, really?
I heard it wasn't bad though, right? It's just part of the game.
No, it is. They put an LGBTQ as the bartender in Hogs.
Right.
And that's all they did. They didn't do anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my understanding that it's a character in the game, but they're not trying to stuff stuff down your throat.
Yeah, it wasn't hostile in any form. It was just people are just making a big deal out of nothing.
We can talk about that because that was a big thing, especially with the YouTubers I follow, and I'm in the pop culture space as well. But we can touch on that as far as the game is concerned because I thought it was really funny that a lot of people that was boycotting it were trying to find reasons to to play.
Yeah, but that's the only reason they're boycotting it, which is bullshit. So it's like It's kind of annoying, but it gets a full 10 from me because I actually have been having tons of fun with it, and
Oh, that's cool.
I've been streaming nonstop with it too. So that's,
Well, I know Unlimited was posting videos. I didn't get a chance to watch them
yeah. Unlimited is a little bit further ahead of me than I am, but I just hit level 12, so
yet. Man, you got to put a spoiler alert on Unlimited's videos, man. That dude be beating the game like in 3 days.
I think he got it on Monday.
Yeah, he did the
yeah, he was
video.
the first one to get it.
Yeah, I think E-Rock got it. I'm not sure if Ebot got it. Hopefully, he'll join us today, guys. I'm not sure. I sent out invites to everybody.
Oh, cool.
Just so that when the podcast is rolling, dude, they can just pop in and I can just add them if they come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really quickly, yeah. So that's the reason why I didn't do the podcast. Again, guys, it won't. I'm doing it today. It won't be next week. It'll be the week after. I do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But what I do want to announce on the channel is I'm going to do a pop culture cast. I talked to Hebot about it.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, about a week and a half ago we talked about it because I know we talk about pop culture on this channel, but it kind of melts together a little bit too much. And,
Oh, okay.
And then the podcast runs way too long. And so what I'm going to do is I'll do a separate one every other week as well. So I'm planning to do one like either Wednesday or Thursday of this week.
Oh, nice, man.
Maybe Friday. I'm not sure, but it'll be sometime this weekend. We'll talk about all things pop culture on that podcast, and then this one we'll just strictly stick to video games, especially Xbox.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's good you do that. That's different variety of stuff. That's good. That's good.
Well, there's just so much stuff going on. It's just like I don't know if you guys follow all the Disney stuff, but there's so much politicking going on with Disney right now.
Oh, I bet.
I've said on social media many times. I was like, man, the politicking going on within Disney is better than the content they put out.
Oh, wow.
If they could find a way to wrap all this drama into an actual show,
yeah,
they'd probably get like 2 million subscribers. There's people tuning in to watch it.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of stuff going on. Looks like they're trying to get rid of Hulu. They might spin off ESPN.
Really?
Yeah, dude, they lost. Like, they're not doing well, dude. And I'm saying this as a Disney fan. Hey, what's up, Unlimited? Oh, in the chat, Unlimited. Yeah, dude, take your time, brother. We'll try and keep it short, but I don't got any plans for today. So I just probably get back on high on life. So anyway, just to keep it rolling, guys. So I know T, man. Well, we'll start with you. And since you brought up Hogwarts, just wanted to know what you guys are playing, and if you want to dip into Hogwarts a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun game. I'm enjoying it. I'm a Potter master myself, so I legitly go through any type of lore or fantasy that is Potter related in a matter of days. But as I said before, it plays just like an RPG. It with a tad bit of Tomb Raider attached to it, but that's the most I can feel from it.
Really? In what way? In what way is it kind of Tomb Raider?
Just the quest that you have to embark on.
Is it as open world as they say it is? And
it is open world? Yes, it's very open world. You get Hogsmeade, you get the Fangorn Forest, the Forbidden Forest, and then you get the actual Hogwarts grounds. Oh, and nice. Right now there is no Quidditch in it, but I have news that there might be a DLC containing it, so I might actually get that.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah. But I just did the flying mission today, and it was actually quite fun. And I took that screenshot of the Quidditch pitch right then and there. Oh, but yeah, no, I got a random fangirl to basically shoot me down when I was about to basically divulge all my pictures. She's like, I don't want to hear anything about this game whatsoever because I love LGBTQs and I don't want to be associated with anything whatsoever. I was like, okay, but my point would be is that it's still a video game and you basically need to get the fuck over it and then just enjoy it.
Yeah,
Is
she upset that did she take the
She's
side
upset with the entire topic altogether. So it was like anything to do with it, she doesn't want to hear it.
Oh, okay. So she's on that side. Okay.
Yeah. So and it sounds to me like it was like one of those J.K. Rowling issues that if it has anything whatsoever to do containing LGBTQ, they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
JK
wow.
Rowling, dude.
That was
I
kind of
mean,
the other issue that I had.
yeah. And I'm surprised my daughter hasn't asked me to buy it. She was all into Harry Potter, but I don't know. She's older. I mean, she's older now, but my daughter would be playing like, so she's addicted to Overwatch too right now. So,
Oh, really?
oh, she loves Overwatch too. She's like, she's basically like one of those fans of Overwatch too that didn't like a lot of the changes. She's a huge Mercy fan, and so begrudgingly, I know she was gonna get the season, but she's been enjoying it so much she dragged me into it. So I've been having to play Overwatch 2 as well. So, and I like the game too. I think it's one of those rare shooters that it's not just a shooter; it's just the entire universe of Overwatch is what's appealing as far as the characters, the storylines, and all that kind of stuff. Which is why when Microsoft acquires them, yeah, we'll talk about that too, man. All the drama that's going on with that.
But the combat is like really, really fun. I got the Expelliarmus spell last night, and then I got the Confringo spell, which is the fire spell.
So how far or how deep does this game go? Do you think before they even do DLC?
This game goes about 30 hours deep, and I'm only 7 hours in.
What do you think about the actual the universe of Harry Potter? Is like when you're in there, do you feel like you're into?
Yeah, no, I already got a bunch of Easter eggs unfolded for me, so I was actually kind of happy about that.
Right.
I got to meet the Headless Hunt from Chamber of Secrets. I got to meet the actual Regulus Arcturus Black, which was the headmaster at Hogwarts, and it was the headmaster in the portrait in the books.
Yeah.
And then I also got to see centaurs in the Forbidden Forest. I saw that earlier. That shit was dope. Along with spiders and trolls. Trolls are huge.
Cool.
And then I also got to see the Hogwarts Lakes monster when I was flying. I forgot what it was called though.
How much hours did you put in?
7.
That's it. Oh wow.
Yeah,
you saw that?
So far.
That's some pretty good progress. Sounds like it's really it was a huge. That's what I've been getting from like a lot of people talking about Hogsworth. Like given all the controversy and stuff like that, where the boycott and then the anti-boycott, right? There's people buying it that don't even know anything about Harry Potter, right? Just because they were like a counter protest but it was interesting when the game launched and then those reviews first came out. You could see the reviews were very positive, and then even the people who begrudgingly wanted to give it positive reviews had no choice but to do it. So when I saw that, and then also the fans were just talking about it, I knew that it was a game that's worth getting, especially if you're a fan. So, yeah, I'm glad you like it, dude.
Yeah, no, I really do. It's I'm actually kind of happy I finally have something to dive my attention in. I legitimately got out of my bed last night at 2 a.m. just to play it for about 20 minutes. And
especially when it's a game that encompasses something that you like so much. Right?
Yeah, but then I went right back to sleep once I got stuck because I got one-shotted by spiders. But then I woke up this morning and I put a decent 2 hours in, and then I was automatically level 12, and then I want to get the Unforgivable Curses. That's the project that I'm working on right now.
Oh,
but I have to go a couple of more hours deep into the story before I unlock them.
How long do you think you'll be playing this?
Until I beat it. It doesn't have any multiplayer attachment to it. It's a completely single player all the way. So the fun factor to that was the fact that I can basically treat it like a WoW RPG and just enjoy farming it.
Oh,
so
nice.
And with the Xbox Series X quick resume, I can legitimately pause it at 1 a.m, and then I can resume.
I love the quick resume.
And then I can quick resume it at 11 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, and it's right there where I stopped it. So I haven't really run into issues with save points yet, but I'm probably going to eventually. But there was a huge update this morning.
Oh, I can imagine, dude.
Yeah.
As much attention as that game's been getting.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it is a true Potter first game. It holds true to the lore and the actual like JK, concept altogether. And I found the house elf kitchens, and I was like, wow, this is this is kind of cool. So I was kind of enjoying the fact that I snuck into the kitchens and I see all the house elves everywhere. I'm like, yo, that's dope. Let's have some fun. But
Oh, that's cool.
but at the same time, I was like, I was enjoying the Potter fan inside me because I've been going through a lot this week, so I've been having my own personal issues. But Dios isn't gonna hold me down if I have my Potter game, so that's fine.
Well, that's why I'm glad that it's doing so well because you can tell just the labor of love, just the impression I'm getting from a lot of people, especially Powder fans. Like it's a labor of love. So you hate to see a game, get canceled over something that's out of the developer's control. To be perfectly honest, you know, all the politicking that's gone around concerning
Yeah,
the game.
but I find that politicking kind of stupid because it's just one character. It doesn't really impact the story that much, and all it is just a it's kind of like a send off to the LGBTQ. That's all it is. They put a character in the game to satisfy the masses, and now everybody should be just content with it.
Well, I guess for me, you see, the cancel culture being as bad as it is and stuff like that, and then it's the actual, people that are in that industry that end up suffering the most, right? Um, just because, and then some of these guys just are not fans. I'm dealing with that. That's why I'm going to do that separate podcast because I'm dealing with it with the other stuff that I like as far as my hobbies and stuff like that is concerned. But are you playing anything else, Odie?
I'm level 190 on COD.
Wow.
Yeah, level 190. Level 190, people. 10 more to go, then 200.
Man, that's amazing, bro. You're getting up there.
I
Yeah.
hate you. I hate you.
Man,
Dude, I'm so
Reaper,
behind.
man, he's
Yeah, no, it's either a COD, and then I got a couple of achievements on Madden 2023.
oh, you're
Oh,
playing
nice.
that? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
That's
just
on. That came on Game Pass.
that's on Game Pass yesterday.
Yeah,
And we just started playing it.
dude. There's so many games that released for Game Pass. I just basically kept my um, Xbox on overnight, went to sleep, and just downloaded everything. I downloaded so many games.
What do you think the issue with the Activision deal is going to be?
Well, we can get on. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But I definitely I want you guys' opinion on that. But T, are you? So that's all. So you're playing COD and Harry Potter. Man, that's enough.
Yeah,
That's
it's
enough
not.
to keep anybody. Sega man, dude, what are you playing on, dude?
I'm starting to get have a big backlog, Sega Forever. So
I saw you. I have to watch your links video, man. I was like, dude, this dude has endless supply.
yeah,
of-
man, I think I have like probably like I have 1,180 something games installed. So I've been trying to catch up with some of my backlog. So I've been playing one of the what is that one I'm playing right now, dude? It's what is it? It's what am I playing right now? Hold on. It is that one story game. They're really good. Like I played the first one called I think it was Man of Medan.
Oh, so did you buy that? Did
I
you buy
beat
the
that.
cover?
I beat that. So I'm playing the other one. I'm playing the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes.
Yeah, House of Ashes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually playing that right now. I played the actually, what's really good is that that Hot Wheels Unleashed. I'm playing that. That's pretty good. And I'm also playing I'm addicted to like the Saints Row game. So I've been playing that.
Is that the one Unlimited was talking about? How
I
much?
think it's the newest one, the newer Saints Row. I actually beat it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I beat the last boss. So I'm just going back and redoing like side missions. And I also I'm pretty high on Vampire Survivors. I actually beat that last demon. I think you have to beat like I don't know. I beat him this morning. I got all these achievements and shit. I think it's some kind of demon. Like I was like the board just warped. Like the board warped, and I was in this like on this dark board or whatever, and I actually beat the demon dude. I think. So I think I beat Vampire Survivors. I'm just going back and trying to get everything else. Like I have 670 achievements in that right now. So I'm trying to go through it and do more. So I got like 50% of my achievements in Vampire Survivor.
Right.
With like 1,330 achievements, I got 670 achievements. So I'm really like I'm kind of addicted to that game. So basically, man, that's what I've been playing right now until these newer ones come out in the in Game Pass, man. Like Atomic Heart. That's going to take a lot of my life away. So I'll be playing that. So yeah, it's good over here. Like I always say, we're eating good over here, man. So yeah, I'm playing a lot of these games, brother.
I think about you every time I download a Game Pass game. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's looking real good over here, man. With the games, I mean, look at all these games. There's all kind of games dropping. It seems like every other week in Game Pass. It's definitely worth the money, bro. It's the hottest thing going right now. Be honest with you.
It seems like they resumed that what they were doing last year, where they'll announce a few games. Which when I look at it, like there's usually about 3 games right off the top. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try those games out. But
Yeah,
then what they do is, as the month starts off, like we're in February, then they start dropping other games right into it, and
I
that's
know.
when I'm having a problem because it's like too much to keep up with.
It's crazy, man. It really is. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that Vampire Survivors, for a lot of people, it came out of nowhere. My son knew about it because he plays Steam, so he was telling me, yeah, a lot of people like the game, and then I started playing it, and I got addicted to it right off the jump.
Yeah, I believe it started out as a mobile game.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Nah,
I think it
it
started out as that. I'm not sure.
it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't a mobile game. All right.
Yeah. By the way, what's up, guys?
Yeah,
What's up, Fireball?
What's up,
Welcome,
boss?
welcome. So we're a
Been a
Fireball.
while.
So we're just talking about the games that we've been playing. So go ahead if you want to give your 2 cents.
Oh no, I was just gonna add to it and say that no, it didn't make it to mobile because there's no mobile device that can handle handle
Oh,
that many
oh,
sprites,
okay.
that many alpha effects. Oh God, especially the damn alpha effects. There's no mobile device, not even an iPhone that can handle that shit.
Oh, really?
That's
I,
why that's
I
that's why that's why you only see it available for PC and for Xbox. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's even available for PS5.
oh, really?
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when they got all that stuff going on the screen, man, it does tend to slow down just a tad. Um, but it's just I love it because it helps me kind of adjust to what I'm doing. There's times I just sit there, man. I'm just like in the middle of everything, dude, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's a wonderful thing.
Yep. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Just so I don't just because I don't want to make myself out to be a liar.
No, go ahead, dude. Go ahead. Hey, what's up, Unlimited?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Okay, I stand corrected. I am a liar. So apparently it is available on Android and iOS.
So it was mobile. Or is-
Yeah,
Okay.
but the thing is from what I was to understand, there was no way in the hell for all the stuff that thing does
Yeah.
that anybody's phone should be able to handle that.
Oh.
Yeah, you're lucky. Other Zinc ain't here, bro. He called you out.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see here. Was released for Mac OS and Windows on October 20th, then ported to Xbox One. Well, that's a shocker because I would have never expected the Xbone to handle it. But it is definitely not on any PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know what's funny though about that? It's one of those games. You know how they hit us all the time about JRPGs and all the Japanese stuff. That looks like a game that wouldn't be on on a PlayStation. There's games that you just don't think of for PlayStation either. Of course, Microsoft gets all the hate. So.
Yeah.
Boss, but what are you playing, dude? What other games are you playing?
Oh shoot, I've been like busy trying to catch up on a lot of orders and stuff. because the work I do at home. But when I've been doing some gaming and everything, I've been bouncing between Infernax, that was I think released like about over a year ago. It's that Castlevania 2 clone
Okay.
game. It's good. It's good. It's that. So that Hi-Fi Rush, I actually plan to start Hi-Fi Rush over again because now
Yeah.
that I got like I don't know, I used to be real big into action games, but my last action game I was really big into was Ninja Gaiden, and after that I just dropped out of that circle. And I believe that's one of the reasons I like it so much is because it draws me back into that time, into that era
Yeah.
of when I guess you say when that type that that genre of gaming was like more pure and stuff like that. And I've been enjoying it, but I've always been one of those type of people where it's like as odd as it sounds, where once I start getting a good handle on the mechanics, instead of just progressing forward, I'll actually just go ahead and start over, and just with my current knowledge and everything, and just see what kind of like scoring I can do. Um, I need to get back into Pillars of Eternity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one I gotta start.
I especially want to beat him before Avowed comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shoot, what's the other thing? And that's right. Yeah, and Vampire Survivors. I've been knee deep into that as well.
Oh, cool.
So that's basically been the crux of my gaming. I need to jump back into High on Life because it's I see everybody else has already done beaten it and everything, and I'm the only one. Whereas like it's like I got like I got like to the jungle part, and let's see, I came to a part where I guess you could say it's one of those things where it's like whoever designed the level kind of fell asleep at the wheel. So if you fall down in this area, you can't climb back out, or at least I don't see a way to. So I'm kind of like, I'll probably start back over. But yeah, but I still enjoyed it either way.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on that one part where there's a device I'm supposed to activate and then zip line over to the other side, and it's still broken. So I'm just like I'm gonna have to. I heard there's supposed to be a patch for it to fix it, but it looks like I'm gonna have to start the game all over again. So I'm high on
Yeah.
life. Yeah, so I was kind of bummed about that. Another game that broke my heart, man, was Somerville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, broke my heart, man. It's a great game. Love the atmosphere. Love the story.
I didn't beat
I was
that.
really getting into it, and I got to this one part where I couldn't pass. And I was like, dude, it was so bad, dude. I actually went and watched the video to see if it was me. And then that's when I started doing that deep dive, and then everybody was saying there's just things in the game that just breaks for no reason, no rhyme or reason. You just have to start over. And I was like, dude, this because it was like one of those games I wanted to play so badly, but because of the dearth of games that we get basically every week, it kind of just fell off on the side. And then I saw it pop up on my thing, and I started playing it. And as soon as I started playing it, of course, I'm like, dude, what took me so long to play this game? And I was like just into it for like an hour and a half, and then I hit this one part and I got stuck, and so basically, even if I go back and restart it at my last save, it still does the same thing. So I'm gonna have to redo the game again. So and I was bummed about that. Yeah, that can put a damper on stuff. It's like quality control that I think Xbox will probably have to pay a little bit more attention to when it comes to their service. I mean, at this point in time, we just want to get the service big and as successful as possible, and then they can work on that stuff later.
I think eventually they will have no choice but to do it. But
Yeah.
for right now, I think they're trying to be as hands off as they can because of all the little social media backlash they used to always keep getting their ass handed to them about. Regarding like, oh, Xbox will never let people do what they want. Oh, they'll never let me create. And the thing about it is that, dude, this is a high level production, business. There has to be QA. There has to be quality control. There needs to be somebody on your ass. That's that. I mean, Dude, work a shift at fucking McDonald's and see, and if you keep fucking up and see what happens.
That's sad. That's sad if you got let go from
It's
McDonald's.
it's the same. It's the same either way, and I don't see nobody behind the counter like lambasting the supervisor talking about just dude, let him cook. Just let him cook, bro.
Well,
Come
I'm
on,
gonna say
man.
this. I'm gonna say as the we'll touch on this later on in the podcast, but it's something that I'm actually kind of worried about. Um, and I know that Hebot Unlimited. I know you've talked about it. Hebot's talked about it. I've talked about it on my channel and other videos. Just about the state of gaming in general, and we'll get into that. But Unlimited, man, I'm pretty sure I know what the answer to this. But what games have you been playing?
Yeah, I've I beat Hi-Fi Rush and then I pretty much just jumped right into Hogwarts Legacy right afterwards.
How far are you into the legacy part?
I am 20 hours in right now. I'm at level
Man.
23, 24.
Say I told you he was higher than me.
Yeah, I figured. I saw him dropping the videos, man, and I still gotta watch it, dude. I couldn't watch a high.
Did you get the unforgivable curses yet, Unlimited?
No, I didn't get that.
So you are higher. It is higher than expected. All right.
Yeah. But the way that I played, I think I did kind of a lot before some story beats because I was at like level 17 before I even got talent points in the room of recreation or room requirement, whatever it's called.
Okay. I'm level 12. I already unlocked remove requirement.
Yeah. I was pretty far in the game before I finally unlocked stuff like that. But I did a lot of side quests and unlocked a lot of stuff in the world. It wasn't really focusing on the story.
What's the easiest way to farm your level?
For me, I found that just doing a bunch of side quests leveled me up super fast, super fast. And the little gray icons when you run into some people, I found and most of them are pretty short. The side quests aren't too long except for one side quest.
Some of the main missions do have level locks on them, so you cannot actually access them until you are that level.
See, that's the thing. I've been so high leveled, I haven't even come across a level lock from any of them. By the time I get to the story.
Yeah, I'm running into level locks now, so that's what my difficulty is. I just did the first trial. That's the story level that I just passed, and I got that achievement for the keeper.
Yeah.
But the game doesn't force you to do things, right? You have a lot of freedom to get where you want to get to. Okay.
Yeah, it plays just like an RPG.
You got a lot of freedom. However, some of the stuff you do, I found to be slower than most games. For example, I was at least 10 hours in before I finally got the broom, the fast travel, the travel around faster. I just got to the beast, and I haven't even gotten the mount yet.
Okay, all right. So me and you are actually around the same level. All right, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
My next mission to do is the beast.
Yeah. I just did that mission, and I got a room now. But even after getting the room, I don't have I don't got the mount yet. I think I gotta find them or something. I'll figure it out.
What about Transfiguration class? Have you done that yet?
Transfiguration. No, I don't think I did Transfiguration yet. I got most abilities.
How that class unlocks. I am kind of curious how that unlocks.
Yeah, probably got to get a little deeper in the main story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the game is gorgeous. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, the game is fantastic. I can't put it down. I didn't think that this shit would be this. I didn't think this game would be this good. And yeah, the only skills I'm missing that except for the curses is Bombarda and transformation. So I got pretty much every other spell except for those two. Oh yeah, and that's another thing I did a lot. Reaper. If I saw a mission that unlocked a spell, I did them first. I did them first before I did any story.
That's technically how I was on my stream earlier today. I was trying to find the spells first and then do the walk around missions.
Hey, where do you stream at?
I stream on Twitch.
Okay, same as your YouTube name.
My Twitch name is actually different. It's the Odo Wizard.
Oh, Odo Wizard. All right, yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna go ahead and follow you.
My Twitch name is the Reek 411.
Oh, your Twitch name is the Reek 411.
Yeah. So I just press it and then activate it and then I stream.
Yeah.
T always keep you guessing, man.
Yeah. No, the game is actually kind of a nice like long story like that I want to actually enjoy.
Right.
And I hope to Christ they put footage in a DLC of some kind, because that is what I'm dying to try out. Because after I tried the broomstick, I was like, yo, I really want to go on that Quidditch pitch. And I saw the Quidditch pitch from across the ground.
Do you know what the sales were on the game?
They already have 500,000 people playing it.
Really?
That's pretty good.
That is very good. Yeah.
And then it's something like 1 million sales or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can't stand about some of these gamers now, man. They don't really consider engagement as something that's a real metric to measure when it comes to gaming nowadays. Right?
Which is funny because both Sony and Microsoft said that's that's the important way of measuring success. It isn't just sales; it's engagement.
Yep. It's just like with any other streaming service. I have Netflix and I have like 100 movies I need to still watch. So that's a reality. That's going to be something that's going to be in the future. That's happening actually right now. But yeah, you playing anything else Unlimited or?
It's really just been those two games back to back recently.
I would imagine so, because Hogwarts sounds like it's a time sink.
Yeah, it is. It's a very good time sync too.
But it seems like when people talk about it, it doesn't seem like that, and that's the dangerous part. Right? You don't realize because you're enjoying yourself so much in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I personally always love those type of games in general. So this game has always been right up my alley.
Would you compare it to Kingdoms of Amalur Unlimited?
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty decent comparison.
I mean, as far as like the time and the story, like that's the last game that like sucked me in so much.
Yeah. See, trust me, man. I played the Xbox 360 version and the remastered.
Nice, yeah.
And the DLC, the Fate Sworn DLC after they did the remaster. Yeah, so trust me, that's in my Hall of Fame of games. I'd love that game.
That's awesome. Well, so for me, guys, again, Hi-Fi Rush is what I've been playing the most. It's probably the most amazing game that I've played in a while.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games where the more that I play it, the more that I found more things to love about it. On the surface, when I first talked about the game, we talked about the characters, the aesthetics, all of that stuff. But as you get deeper into the game, it's just amazing how much better it gets, right? So one of the big things I love is the boss battles.
Yeah, they're excellent. They're excellent and unique.
Yeah. And very unique. And the great thing about the boss battles is it doesn't take you out of the overall game and the story, right? It matches, right? So if you guys haven't played I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Okay, well, I won't do any spoilers, but because I'm far enough in the game that there's particular stuff with the bosses that just makes sense. So when I was playing it, I began to realize I haven't played a great boss battle on that level since Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Was it Metal Gear Solid 2? Yeah, I think it was Metal Gear Solid 2. Like you had characters like Psycho Manus.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought it was cool, like because we didn't have the internet like we have now. So I remember playing that, I kept on dying, and I was like, dude, how do I beat this guy? And it's giving you the hint, right? Because he can read your mind, so you'll never be able to beat him. And as I remember, just something that popped into my head was like, okay, what if I put it in the second slot? Because it kept on telling me that. And so I put it in the second slot, and then you can actually beat him, right? That's the same type of, I guess, attention to detail that I see with Hi-Fi. It's like such a, I don't know, man, dude. It's just, I just love, even when I die, it's fun. And that's a telltale thing for me. I don't get upset. It's like the last time I experienced that was Sunset Overdrive. In fact, I would die on purpose just to see all the different animations.
Yeah, I remember.
That they bring you back.
My favorite one in Sunset Overdrive was the one where you'd come out like a portable toilet and drinking and just fall down. I thought it was
yeah. Or when he crawls out of the TV, that was a cool one.
Yeah, that was a good. Oh, the zombie one was also good.
Yeah,
the one where she put her hands from the ground and pull her stuff out. Oh, I like that one too.
Well, and that's what it is. That's what Hi-Fi Rush feels like. Right? It's definitely a labor of love, man. That these guys got to do this game, right? And it pisses me off. And we'll get into this a little bit later. It pisses me off because, Microsoft gets no credit for this. right? Because I know this game was started before Microsoft, acquired Bethesda, ZeniMax, and all that stuff. But how many of you guys think that this game would have been released, honestly, if it wasn't under Microsoft umbrella?
If it was the old ZeniMax leadership, never.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a
That
lot of
was
things that people are not counting or taking into consideration when having somebody like Microsoft, who's basically, who's basically your backer, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Fireboss, because maybe the 360 days, because they used to release games like Wet and Demon, Hunted, the Demon's Forge, and stuff like that. Cool games that weren't necessarily their big hitters, but eventually they just started releasing the Preys, the Wolfensteins, the Fallouts, and Elder Scrolls only. So yeah, I think you're right, Fireboss.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't until later on in the 360 days that Bethesda got absorbed by ZeniMax. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
and also during the 360 days anyway, Tango didn't really exist until much later because they were still under Capcom Clover, and then they broke off and became Platinum, and then what's his name left Platinum to start Tango.
Right.
I know his name is at the tip of my brain, but some odd reason my brain is not working completely at the moment.
Yes, Shinji Mikami, I believe.
Shinji Mikami. There we go.
Oh, for Tango, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had to get the hell away from the other two.
Yeah. So, but that's the game that's been occupying my most time.
Yeah. Oh, hey, can I say something real quick? Sega Forever.
Go ahead, man.
So you mentioned about Xbox not getting credit. Isn't it funny how something like Ghostwire Tokyo or Deathloop PlayStation somehow did get credit?
Yeah. Our illustrious media. You gotta love those guys, right?
Yeah.
No, and that's what it is. Like even so, look, dude. I try not to be nitpicky about this when I do my videos and stuff like that. But it's something as mundane as when you look at the when you look at the Xbox news. Like I know a lot of us use Bing and stuff like that, so I just have a category under my interest. It's just labeled Xbox One, and I click on it, dude, and then sometimes the main article has nothing to do really with Xbox.
Yeah,
but it's affiliated. Yeah, it's affiliated with Xbox, and it's funny. It's normally when it's good news, like if they're releasing a game on all platforms, right? Even though a game like Atomic Heart, even though it's coming to Game Pass day one, they'll put it on Atomic Heart coming to PlayStation 4. If it's on Nintendo, it'll be Nintendo Switch, PC, then Xbox will be at the end.
Oh, of course.
But if it's something negative about the game, like what happened to the Hi-Fi, what's that guy? What's that shooter game that just came out? High on Life, right? So you see that the main guy's been going through there's been issues with his personal life being put on blast. So then it's like High on Life, the Xbox Series X and S game. Right. This is why I do those media blast videos, man, because it's irritating. And I know some people are like, well, that's kind of nitpicky. I was like, no, dude, you have to call this stuff out, right? Because it's basically like a culture of negativity, right? And then a lot of people are like, well, why does it bother you so much? And I'm like, because this is my ecosystem of choice. I don't have a Switch. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't really play on PC, right? Unless it has something to do with an Xbox game, right? So this is the ecosystem I occupy.
Yeah, all it is that those outlets, they took the bag, man. That's what happened. You walk into their office, I'm willing to bet you they got like brand new Sony cameras, Sony soundboards, and all sorts of stuff and everything. I mean, of course, I'm just saying. So I mean, I don't go in these people's offices, but I'm just saying. But but a lot of them, man, it's like they gained and also spent millions invested in Xbox hatred.
Yeah.
And it's very because I was responding to somebody's tweet about this, and basically I told them, I said, this is it was J Rock. That's what it was. It was J Rock.
Yeah.
I said basically you're looking at a situation where this is the equivalent of trying to get people to look at an alternative to diesel. Look, it's like, hey, why don't you try electric? It's kind of hard to get people to change over like that when they've been fixated on one way for practically like close to 2 decades.
Right.
So it's hard. It's like you're literally asking the impossible, and it's just the thing about it is that I'm to a point where it's like I'm not even really studying it no more because of the fact that I don't know if a lot of you have noticed it yourself. Well, I know most of you don't really mess with Twitter anymore and stuff. But the thing is, if you just kind of take a glance, it's like, yeah, the mules never went away. They never died. They never went away. They're rampaging more than ever.
Well,
And the only reason I find it hilarious is because they are putting up one hell of a fight now. I mean, they're fighting harder than ever before to validate not just their platform but their own existence.
yeah, but see,
That's
so I could actually respect that if it was about them getting paid. Like I could respect that as a person who looks at it from a business perspective. Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me, right? But I
yeah,
think
but
Ebot that was talking about this. It's a culture, though, right? And
yeah, and
I know each one of us in our group and our circle have talked about this. A lot of these dudes just know PlayStation. That's it. That's why their stuff's so slanted. These guys are ideologues, man. They're believers, which to me
yeah,
is worse than somebody that's on the take. Because
and
somebody
see the
on the
thing.
take, when things change, that person will change with whatever side, right? But these dudes, they will stick with this. I mean, look, when Sony eventually
Well,
collapses and the ship's going down, these dudes will be like, you know,
so the thing is, it shows you the difference. Like I should like, and see the Japanese themselves. They even see it and call it out. They see the difference. Whereas like when when the Xbox platform fell off, all right, where it was toppled off the top of the hill, all right. We Xbox people, we just kind of just we did the honorable Cobra retreat, and backed away. We're like, we'll get them next time, and we left it at that. And we don't have a problem with saying, oh, hey, this PlayStation game is pretty nice. Oh, hey, this Switch game is pretty nice, and we go about our business. These guys right here, it's like they may go out and buy an Xbox, they may go out and buy Hi-Fi Rush, but they'll sit there and give every sort of backhanded comment under the sun you can imagine to try to I guess like completely um like I'm trying to think of the best word to say. Basically make the purchase itself like invalidated.
Yeah.
yeah. So look, that's something that we're gonna talk about when we talk about the state of gaming, right? Because that is a big problem I see, right? When we talk about that, because I
Oh yeah.
because I think it's like I said, it ties into culture, right? But it also has this influence on just the general audience, which is why I rep so hard for Game Pass because Game Pass is like could be that and is being that great equalizer, right? Where you can get past all the fluff, you can get past all the hate and all the subterfuge, right? And actually, when you get your hands on an Xbox with Game Pass, then you realize, wow, this is actually pretty good. That these people have actually been lying all this time, and then we can get past all this kind of stuff, and hopefully we put Sony out to pasture because they need to go. Um, so look, guys. I'll kick it off with you after I finish. So the other couple games that I'm playing, Age of Empires 2. If you would have told me I would have been playing it on console and enjoying every single minute of it, I would have called you a liar. Because this is a game I played way back in the day, way back in the day. And I
Yeah.
actually, I actually took time off of on a weekend. I downloaded it on Thursday night, made time on Friday. I was gonna play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I helped William Wallace beat the Dirty English, which I thought was funny when I was doing it. But the control on that game is awesome. I had a little bit of hiccups here and there, but overall, and of course, playing on an OLED TV or a mini OLED that I have, it looks the detail and stuff like that is amazing. But that's another game that sucked up my time for the weekend. Of course, I mentioned Hi-Fi Rush. I haven't got to play Inkulanati yet. I had it download. Um, RoboQuest was the other game I got hooked on. It's actually pretty cool. It's basically it's like a what do you call that? It's like Hades. It has the same type of gameplay as Hades, where you just kind of like push through and upgrade and all that kind of stuff. And then surprisingly, JoJo Bizarre Adventure. And the only reason I played that because my daughter loves that.
That's a
anime.
good fighting game.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I didn't know that it was a remake though. I thought it was a new game, but it's actually from a game that was earlier, right?
It was on Dreamcast.
Was it on
Yeah.
Dreamcast? Wow.
Yep.
I don't even remember that, dude.
I do.
So, have you played it, Sega Man? Do you like it or?
Yeah, I've played it. And I haven't downloaded it in Game Pass. It's actually it's a little it's different. It's like a weird type of fighting game, but I like it. I think it's pretty good, guys. Some of the characters, the elements are mixed in, like a couple guys from like Art of Fighting, like their fighting styles, different things like that. So it's kind of like a little bit of mixture of Neo Geo like type fighting styles in it. It's
Yeah.
actually it's pretty good. I really I like it. I think it's really cool. I'm surprised it came in Game Pass, but man, it's cool. I'm liking it, man.
I think it's doing really well too. You know, the only reason I started watching it, like I said, my daughter watches it, and she asked me to watch it with her because there's so much music references in that anime. So you can tell the guy he likes music like REO Speedwagon and Rush.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because all the character names, the music they play on there. Because my daughter was like, "Dad, what song is this? I know you know this song," and I was basically, "Oh yeah, I know this song." Basically told her what it was. In fact, I have the CDs. Right, and so my daughter's that's why my daughter's been going on this, like, her and my son. Dude, my son actually blew my mind today. My son was listening to Stevie Wonder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm not talking like 80s Stevie Wonder. I'm talking 70s.
Wow.
Stevie Wonder. My son plays drums and he plays guitar.
Hey, Sega, I actually gotta go.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey.
All right, brother T.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
brother.
I gotta
All
keep
right.
my health intact before the stuff that I did this week.
Yeah,
I'll catch up with you, man. I'll catch up with you, T.
T gotta, yeah. I'm gonna go on my Xbox and see you playing Hogwarts.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely try to play that sometime later this evening. But I
All right.
need to get some sleep because I have dialysis on Monday. So
No, definitely.
All right,
definitely. Thanks for
All right,
thanks
take
for popping
it
in, brother.
easy, Reaper.
all right, later.
Yeah. So my son, dude, he blew my mind because the songs you were playing are not his more popular songs, right? And so I know that his trainer for drums and the son, right? So they really like a lot of funk music and classical jazz and stuff.
Huh?
So yeah, so my son was playing these songs. I'm like, how do you know about these songs?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like that he has a broader perspective, besides what the music that's common. And my kid's kind of like, I don't know, they're doing this time warp thing. But yeah, for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, man, a lot of that 80s, 70s rock stuff is all painted all over that anime.
That's really cool.
So,
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, so but the fighting style, even my daughter, she doesn't really play fighting games, but she'll play it just because it's JoJo. Yeah, so I mean, like you say, Sega Man, dude.
They said Zonzo from Hi-Fi Rush had a lot of JoJo references. Now I never watched the show, so I wouldn't be able to
He
tell.
He does.
That's what I heard.
He does because of the way he poses and the Japanese characters that float around him and stuff. Yeah, that stuff is typical of JoJo.
For Hi-Fi Rush, the thing I love the most about it is it's a perfect combination of what they were trying to do in those early 2000s. I mentioned this before on a couple other podcasts that we've done, but when they were trying to merge the East-West thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I play this game, it's like, wow, this is what they were really trying to go for, which makes sense, right? Because you got the producer, what's his name? Miyakami. But he basically, he brings that kind of flavor to it. And then, of course, the guys who work there bring the Western feel to it. So as far as the character and stuff like that, I think it was a Sega Man. You made a great reference to the main character being like Marty McFly.
Man, he reminds me of Michael J. Fox, man.
Yeah.
Is the way his swagger is, the way he, he's tapping his finger, going like this, and he's moving his body around, and he kind of looks like a young Michael J. Fox, like in the future, kind of like a Back to the Future, like in the future type, setting, and it's really cool. That's what it reminds me of. And Hebot was like, "Wow, man, really hit it on the spot with that." Because that, if you look at him, he kind of reminds you of that of Michael J. Fox when he was younger with that slapstick comedy,
Mm.
the way he acts and stuff like that. That's what reminded me of him.
Yeah, that was a
Michael
good.
J.
Yeah,
Fox, man.
yeah. When you
Yeah.
said that, I thought the same thing. Yeah, it was awesome. And then now as I'm playing the game, getting further into it, it just stick with me. I'm like, yeah, this is probably why he appeals so much. Because people don't realize what a big star Michael J. Fox. Well, of course they wouldn't, because they're probably younger than us. But Michael J. Fox was so huge, back in the day.
Oh yeah, big time. Teen
Yeah.
Wolf.
Yeah, Teen Wolf. Yeah, people don't remember. Like, I showed my daughter them that, so we're supposed to watch that movie because they've already watched all the Back to the Futures. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, man. Disney better step up their game, man. All these kids now, they're going backwards and watching all the old stuff we grew up with. Like I said,
Yeah,
when my son started playing like Stevie Wonder, I'm like, dang, dude. I ain't gonna lie though, I felt old, but it was cool. Yeah, so that's basically just the games I've been playing. A shout out to Dale, she's here, guys.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, First Lady of Chat.
Yep,
How are you?
Dale wrote, I love Michael J. Fox. I liked him in the. Oh yeah, Frighteners. Underrated movie too. Yeah, Frighteners is awesome.
That's another good one.
I think that was like Peter. Isn't that Peter Jackson? I think that was like his first movie he did.
I think so.
Lord of the Rings.
I think so.
And I think that was like one of the first movies with Chi McBride as well.
I think you could be right. Yeah.
I could be. Yeah. He's such a. Dude, I like all the every single character, like even the bosses, I love, dude.
Oh yeah.
And I know Zobi made a reference that he would love to see a Japanese JRPG. And I'm like, and I wrote back to him. I'm like, dude, this world is so encompassing. There's so much more world building. I wouldn't be surprised if they could do a lot of different things with this brand. It could become its own brand, is what I told him.
After Evil Within 3, I wouldn't be surprised if they do try their hand at a JRPG because I want to say like over a year ago, Shinji Mikami did make. Well, actually, no, it was after the acquisition. In an interview, he did mention that now their hands are freed because the thing is, even though he's known for as I guess essentially as the godfather of the survival horror, the Japanese survival horror genre, he's exhausted, man. He's fatigued from it, man. He wants to take a break, and he said that because see, this was kind of his hint. He was already giving you a hint that they were ready to do something else, something different, which in this case, culminated to Hi-Fi Rush. And he did say that we're kind of like we're getting a little tired and we want to try other things. And one of the things he did mention was wanting to try their hand at a JRPG. So it's Shinji Mikami, man. He's got that that Capcom Clover background, and so I'm anxious to see what they're able to cook up. I mean, heck, since Capcom refuses to give us another breath of fire, well, maybe Shinji and the gang will treat us to something that's like a spiritual successor to that franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's It was kind of funny how he kind of poked fun of himself at the developers thing that they did. Man, I thought that was pretty cool of him.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, he also kind of knew. He did call it that he knew that people were going to give him a hard time. Certain fans were going to give them a hard time about where's Evil Within 3 and this is not Evil Within 3 and all this other stuff like that. And he wasn't lying. People sure enough, showed their butts.
Well, that's why you notice them. Like I did a video talking about this with Pete Hines when they threw him on the pyre, right? And even what's his name? I was talking to Todd Howard was talking about that, right? It's just like he didn't realize that being with Microsoft is a different it's a different animal altogether. The hate that you're gonna get just being on Microsoft, right? So the great thing, again, I'll repeat this, is that at least Bethesda has their own fans, and I see that within my daughter. My daughter is definitely a Bethesda fan. She has that type of attitude when it comes to their games. But for Miyakami and all them, they're kind of a smaller studio. So I thought it was kind of cool of them to say right in the beginning, thank you guys for all your support, because they know, man, and we'll get into this later, a little bit later on in the podcast, man. They hate, it's just like we're in 2023, and it doesn't surprise me, but it does surprise me that everything is happening again so fast, given how much Microsoft dominates the news cycle. But still, I thought they'd have a little bit of a respite, especially since they've been giving us so much good stuff, which goes to the reason why I want to talk about the state of gaming, because a lot of these people are not gamers, and we'll get into that really quickly. But I'll read the comments real fast. Dea4568, I want Evil Within 3 really, really bad. Yeah, you're not the only one, and I'm pretty sure he will do it. I'm pretty sure he will do it.
They started work. They're working on it.
Yeah, and it'll be on Game Pass. Yay. Yes, Shinji Mikami made the original Resident Evil. Yeah, he's a. It's funny because a couple of those guys from back in the day, Fireboss, you can speak on this too. They did these franchises, but they just broke away because they wanted to do something new.
Yeah, it's that, and also the fact that the upper brass, because the upper brass with like Capcom at the time, they weren't exactly too open to like new ideas and new directions and new IPs and stuff. They I guess you say it got to a time frame when the bravery and the originality that a lot of these studios were like always known for, such as stuff like Beautiful Joe and everything like that, and Okami and everything. That's stuff that you won't see anymore. You won't see that anymore unless these guys break away and find some sort of like outside backing.
Yeah.
To invest into them, trying these newer ideas, because investors, man, that's all I can say. Investors, woo! They run the show, and when they're in the board meetings, they're all about that safe money.
Yeah, and then that's why it's interesting when all this stuff comes to light as well. Radiance 96, Alone in the Dark was the first survival horror. Truth. Also, Resident Evil copied Alone in the Dark. That could be a good topic for one day. Let's see how that would go over. Yeah, welcome Radiance, man. Thanks for joining. We got Gogol Pole back in here. Hey Gogol, what's up, dude? Here we go. Yeah, but Ari made it popular. Here we go.
The thing is that if I'm not mistaken, I think Alone in the Dark, was more Western based, wasn't it? Western based horror, wasn't it?
Was it? I'm not sure.
Because I think like the actual first Japanese game was survival horror was called Sweet Home, which was based off of a novel. Right, and the novel I guess eventually became a movie over there in Japan, and they made a game off of it. And then I guess Capcom like lost the rights, and so they decided to just go ahead and just make their own thing and renamed what they had so far to Resident Evil.
Huh.
Okay. Radiance wrote, I hope they make more action games. Yeah, me too. And I'm actually.
I just want them to branch out and do a lot more stuff that they feel like they want to do, because no creator should ever be boxed in.
Does Microsoft? I agree with you. Does Microsoft actually own the rights to Sunset Overdrive, or is that Naughty Dog?
I think they own the IP.
They still own it.
Naughty Dog owns it.
You think not? Yeah, is it Naughty Dog?
They don't own the IP?
No way in hell Naughty Dog's on it. They didn't even make the game.
No, Microsoft still owns it.
Oh, do they? Okay. So Radiance, to answer your question, yeah, I would like them to take a crack at Sunset Overdrive 2, which we should have had a long time ago. And that's the thing that pisses me off about Sunset Overdrive, is because it's a game that PlayStation people should actually like, especially since it's made by Naughty Dog.
It's made by Insomniac.
They do.
Insomniac? Yeah, sorry.
They do like it, because every once in a while you see one out of two oddball tweets that pop up where they're saying, "Oh yeah, any day any day we're going to get that announcement that Sunset Overdrive is coming to PlayStation.
One of them PlayStation dudes who was hating on Hi-Fi Rush said that, and this shit was so funny. When he
You know
had a
the sad thing
meltdown,
about it, it really doesn't. It's really not like Sunset Overdrive.
yeah, when he had a meltdown, he was like, "Sunset Overdrive coming to PlayStation 5." I'm like, "All right, just making stuff up." I see.
That's why these people irritate me, man. Because it's kind of like, dude, you guys don't even play the game. If you play the game, you know that the only thing maybe aesthetically and the comedy, right? Like it has a very unique characters. Maybe that's the only two things, but the actual gameplay is different.
Yeah,
I'm at a point where it's like, I just let them say whatever they want to say, because this is no longer the beginning of last gen. All right, this is no longer 2013, 2014, all the way up to 2017. It's not that time anymore where they could just get on social media and go to GameStops and WalMarts and just bump their gums and say whatever the hell they want and they can to sway the public's opinion on stuff. They don't have that no more, because every day I turn around, if everything they've been saying on social, every time they go pop in their chops actually amounted to something, why is it that every time I log in to Twitter, every other post I look at, especially from Japan, people just bought their brand new shiny Series S or Series X if they're lucky to find it. They're enjoying their Game Pass. They just extended their Game Pass. They used they found out the trick to get extra time with their Game Pass and stuff. I mean, to me, it's like why are we even bothering with y'all clowns? And every time they open their mouth, they always keep hashtagging Xbox a lot of times, and don't even realize that you dumbasses are feeding into the algorithm. You know that, right?
you know what? It's just like those people who hate Xbox but played Hi-Fi Rush off Game Pass, thinking they didn't support the game that way. It's like, dummy, you paid $15 to play the game. You're supporting Xbox. You know that, right?
Yep.
It's funny they don't because, and I think that's one of the narratives out there, is like, it's because you even hear like the regular media talk about the free. It's free in Game Pass. I'm like, no, it's not. You pay a subscription.
Highlight what Mr. Kima said.
Yeah, well, let me go to Dia, because Dia had a really great.
Kima was basically giving more details. See,
Okay.
Microsoft owns the publishing rights for Sunset Overdrive, but apparently Insomniac does own the IP itself. But I guess, I guess it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like the situation with like Bayonetta right now, where it's like Platinum may own Bayonetta, but the publishing rights for right now reside with Nintendo.
Oh, that's interesting. Thanks, Mr. Kima, man. Thanks for joining and thanks for dropping the knowledge. That's why I love when I've been listening to the podcast, dude, and occupying the chat with just how knowledgeable people are that actually follow us and we follow them. So it's basically
people actually play games.
Yeah, that's true too. So go back to Dea. I like what she said. Think about it though. Shinji is apprenticing new upcoming developers that is producing games like Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush. All of them will be under the Xbox umbrella. And the great thing about it, and I like that too, because it's basically what Microsoft is pushing for, and have been pushing for the last 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, that is right. Because Shinji has been talking a bit about probably getting ready to look to step down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How do you guys feel about this when they finally go ahead and cut and pull the covers back on the Xbox Game Studios Japanese division? What would y'all say if they just gave Shinji, just say, hey man, before you retire, you want to be the head of this? Because dude, it's like Matt Booty is only one guy, man. He's already managing like 20 something damn studios by himself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to imagine that the Japanese studios, it would make more difference. It will make more sense to have an actual veteran person who's already an inside guy managing those studios and everything.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a person that would want to do the managing though. He's such a creative.
Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just something.
I like your idea. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that would be awesome. Like Microsoft could use all the help they could get. That they could get. So.
Because the only other person I can see them offering that type of a job to is oh shoot, what's his name? The dude always be harping about the one who created Lost Odyssey, the Godfather of JRPGs.
Who's that? I don't know, bro.
All right, the guy who joined Xbox and they helped him create Miss Walker.
Oh man, hold on, let me go look it up.
Yeah, like I told you, tonight's an odd night because as I'm talking to you guys, I'm trying to get this work done, so my brain is like not working in its full capacity.
Unfortunately, I'm running this thing, so that's why I like listening to you guys instead of doing these, because it's a lot more fun.
See, the problem is that the name is right there at the tip of my brain. There we go. Thanks, Radiance. Sakaguchi.
Thanks, Radiance, dude. You're the man.
Because Sakaguchi, he's getting ready to step down and retire as well, and I know he, along with like even Itagaki, have been beating down Phil's door to try to I guess once they saw the wave coming of how promising the Xbox platform was going to be with the Series X and everything. A lot of them that had ties with the brand been trying to return. So I don't know what in the world is going on, or what Phil is looking at, but it's almost at times it almost feels like he's ignoring these guys, and I'm hoping that's not the case, and maybe it's just something whereas they're kind of taking their time to see what these guys can do, because dude, after seeing Hi-Fi Rush in action, I would love to see what the hell Itagaki can do. The former head of Team Ninja, I would love to see what he's able to do with that hardware.
Please, Itagaki-san, come back and make Dead or Alive 7 better, please.
Because the thing is that out of all the Japanese developers and everything that has ever touched the Xbox platform, that man was notorious for bringing that hardware to its knees.
Yes.
And I know, and I can imagine he is he's drooling at what kind of little ideas he can probably do with that 12 teraflops of power.
Oh,
hasn't he been blacklisted, dude?
His situation, just like Sak, it's funny. His situation is just the same as Sakaguchi, whereas like in Japanese culture, especially business culture, Sega Forever can probably even chime in on this. It's all about whose hand is washing whose hand.
Yeah,
and
So basically, with him, dude, he pretty much got exiled. There's a couple of those guys that happened because they wanted to do like something different, right? And it went against the old guard.
Yeah, they went against the grain because what did it for Itagaki was the fact that he wanted to develop exclusively for the Xbox, because I'm sure y'all must remember the infamous interview where he says, "I refuse to develop on weak hardware."
Yeah.
That pissed a lot of Sony executives off, and they made a few calls. They made a few calls to Tecmo, because they didn't merge with Koei at that time. I think they were just Tecmo by itself at that time. Yeah, we're old.
So Sony is infamous for that kind of stuff, man, which is why I just want them to die. People don't realize the power they used to wield back then, especially in Japan, right? Because even Sega got a phone call. Sega of America got a phone call from Sega of Japan because of what Bernie Stolar was doing, and it was made as a prank, like how Sega was kind of pranking Nintendo here back in the day. And when they did it to Sony execs called Sega of Japan, and Sega of Japan called Sega of America, and they put a stop to that real quick. And people don't realize how big Sony was back in the 90s. They were huge. They were the behemoth. So it's kind of rich for me to see them with the Activision deal playing the victim after all the crap they've been doing for the last 3 decades. right? And then now you got a bigger fish, who's actually a pretty nice. Microsoft is very nice, comparatively. Because if I was in charge of Microsoft, which is probably why I'm behind my computer in the middle of the afternoon doing a podcast instead of running $1 trillion business. But I mean, it's just rich for me to see Sony turn into what they've become. Because they're no
moments
longer,
like this, moments like this right here is where I'm kind of like, if Phil was a step away and there was to go back and poke Peter Moore, hey man, you want to jump back in real quick until we find somebody else? That would be, dude. I think it's only then that's probably when it'll probably be the end of Sony, because Peter Moore, he hates Sony with every fiber of his being. He wants them gone.
yeah, I can't blame him. Okay. Let me catch up with the chat a little bit, guys. Let me see. Google. Do you remember Uninvited? It was an old adventure horror game that was. What is that? ATRT Alone in the Dark. I never really played that. Really.
Hey, Google Poll. At least it's not abandoned.
Holy cow! Radiant said it's a DOS game. Okay, maybe that's why. Man, did you guys got some? You guys got some pedigree, man. I'll tell you this. That's why I love this chat, man. Yeah, wrote Ari was named Biohazard Boss. It had to be renamed to Resident Evil Further West because the name was already under copyright. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, that's a lot of the games have to do that, or because of the translation in general. It's kind of funny how like Japanese content now it's a lot more free with the way they name stuff, as opposed to back in the day when we were hardcore into Japanese stuff. Bobo wrote this day it's the big that Shinji is helping make those games. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And he is also creating more developers for Xbox who in themselves are making new IP. That's a great format that other publishers should replicate. Yeah, and I think that's what's going on with all the Microsoft studios. Like every time you hear the media and then Xbox guys, because I already know, like I say this all the time, the Sony guys are psychotic. But again, when the Xbox guys start talking about, the studios are in trouble, what's Microsoft doing? What's happening with 343? I'm pretty sure they have a lot of the inner workings that are going on, which is another reason why I love the developers direct, right? Because it basically all the crap that Microsoft was getting about their studios and about the layoffs, which is happening all over the industry and all over business. And I wish Other Zink was here. He could talk about that more. But it's happening all over, right? But it's only that Microsoft gets hit on that. So when they did that developers direct, that's why I love that, because it's showing that regardless of all the stuff that's going on, Microsoft is still continuing to put out the content. And then you have a hi-fi rush that drops day one, that shadow drops like the way they did. That was another boom for me, man, and a slap in the face for these losers.
Well, a lot of them were burning. They were burning hot because they were like, "I didn't get no review code." Like, well, there was a reason you didn't get review code.
Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah, welcome to the new normal. Welcome to the new normal, man. In fact, I hope that becomes a big thing. You heard the rumor that everybody was putting out there, and I'm not putting any stock in this. I just wanted to, get you guys' opinions real quick. Is that when they do the Starfield stuff, that they're going to shadow drop the game?
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I'll put it like this. I'll put it
well,
like
I
this.
mean,
well, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, unless they show it sometime in February, March, if they do it in like April or May, because let's put it this way, even if you go to their site now, they haven't changed the fact that they said first half of 2023. Yeah. So they have until basically June 30th to keep to that word, right? So I don't know how much time's going to pass before they start putting out pre-orders and all this other stuff, like they did for Redfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that even though this is coming from them themselves, that they say first half, you still got jackasses out here still taking it upon themselves to kill the game or delay it, saying, "Oh, it's not going to make it until November. It's not going to be here till October." It's like, okay, who told you this? Reliable sources. Okay, so in other words, first name Believe and last name Me.
Well, I'll quote Sega Man. We still be eating good over here.
But
Regardless
I'm
of
telling
that.
you right now, this is the hill I die on. I've been posting this everywhere, and I will die on this hill right here. But 030323. That's what I'm looking at for Starfield. Because dude, the show should be, if anything, somewhere within this month. Because they said it wouldn't be that long after the first direct.
Yeah, that's right. They did say that.
Oh, that would be solid, dude.
And they can't
When does
they
Redfall?
can't do May. They can't do April because there's too many other big bangers coming out, and
Even
they don't.
their own first party game in Minecraft Legends come out on my birthday, April 18th. So
Yeah,
that might be out the books for them.
So when does Redfall come out? Is it May?
May 2 weeks later on May 2nd.
Dude,
yep.
they're
Fourth.
stacked.
Yeah,
And
2023
that's why everybody
is
was
insanity.
losing their mind about the Forza thing, which ticked me off because I'm like, dude, you know how many games they got right now?
Yeah, Forza is rumored to come out in June. So, so again, however they fit Starfield, the game's still gonna be a mega hit. If anything, whatever comes out in the Starfield window is gonna be affected by it. So I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know. Unfortunately, whatever they didn't have a game ready for January and February. Because I think this would have been. Oh no, that's not true. We just got Hi-Fi Rush. So we had Hi-Fi Rush in January, Redfall in May, Minecraft Legends in April. Forza might be the one I would go ahead and just delay till the summer. Screw it. Since the summer's already usually slow anyway, I'll just put that out in like June or July or August. Let people be mad at it being slightly delayed. Because I don't know. Because at some point these window releases, guys, they're pretty tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it doesn't help. I mean, look, and it's a great problem to have. You know, it doesn't help that there's a constant flow of games, regardless if they're. Dude, I hate this, man. There's a guy. So, like I said, I've been channeling my other Zinc, inner other Zinc. I want to nominate him for freaking Nobel, man. I don't know how he can sit through and watch a lot of these people.
He does it when he's working.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Because I can't handle it. But there's a couple. I tried to listen to a couple of the common like just the regular normie type people, and even in their like shows, they would be talking about like, like they're watching the developer direct, and they're like, but I'm only about AAA games, right? From studios and stuff like that, first party studios. So I wrote to one of the guys. I was like, then why are you watching this podcast, or why are you watching this developers conference, dude? It's not for you. And then he wrote me back. He's like, well, we like all kind of games. I'm like, really? Do you? And then he never responded. So, hey, sorry guys, let me catch up with this, and then T wanted to talk about this, and if you guys want to, I mean, I kind of want to touch on it a little bit. We're gonna talk about the Activision stuff that's been going on, but let me catch up with the chat. Global Poll said, I think Microsoft doesn't ultimately want to be the big publisher, but allow the current publishers and studios to self-manage, and they support them. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, 100%. And then even more so, they're getting other publishers outside of themselves to get more involved. Like Focus Entertainment, man. Focus Entertainment and Dodgeball Academy. The guys who did Dodgeball Academies. God, I'm old, man. I can't remember stuff. But guys like Focus Entertainment, Humble Games, right? Those guys that have been supporting Game Pass like with just about every game and putting it in our service and stuff like that, dude. I like that Microsoft does that as well. And I think that's a big part to what Phil does, and Sarah Bond, who doesn't get enough credit. She's awesome. So there'll be pretty much never be another Sunset Overdrive, possibly Radiance. I, for one, would like it. We should have got a sequel a long time ago. That's how great that game was. By the way, there's a good documentary on Double Fine making Psychonauts 2. It looks good. Yeah, Psychonauts 2 is an awesome game. I didn't watch, but it's interesting. Sunset Overdrive is a one and done game, but I can't see another game made like it. Well, everybody likes Hi-Fi Rush. I actually agree with that. MS wants them to run themselves, which is a good thing. MS may provide limited oversight and financing. Yeah, that's like what Marvel did back when they were good, when they knew what they were doing. Sakaguchi, Radiance. Yeah, thanks, Radiance. Okay. Wow, dude, I'm like really behind on the chat. So, guys, we're gonna go to the next topic, and I'll just share the comments, and then the guys, you can whatever I post, you guys can just talk about. But as you guys know, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Activision stuff. I keep up with it. I just stopped doing videos on it because there's really not much you can say about it until the deal is actually over. It's only when stuff that comes out, like what happened this week, as far as Microsoft subpoenaing Sony, wanted to get some of their numbers and stuff like that, and then Sony all of a sudden went quiet, right? For the first time, Sony ended up shutting their mouth, and then basically you have what's that? The CMA, right?
Mhm.
Is that the CMA? Yeah, the CMA and all these regulatory agency stuff started releasing their findings and stuff like that and what they want to do. And of course, the collective gaming industry lost their mind. And again, especially on the Xbox side, right? This is why I actually support and I put on blast guys like Unlimited and E-Rock and Hebot and Sega Man. And, people like us that every time that something comes up, we don't lose our mind over it. That we don't flip flop when it comes to Xbox stuff, dude. We believe what we believe, and we look at things honestly. If Microsoft does anything that's bad, then we'll talk about it. But they've been doing so much good stuff, especially when it comes to people that just want to play video games, right? But again, with the Activision stuff, have you guys been keeping up with that at all?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Fire Boss.
Yeah, Fireboss, kick it off.
Oh no, I was just responding saying yeah that we have, but yeah, like I said, you know, pretty much myself and a few others and everything. We've been keeping up with it to I guess just enough to keep ourselves from going from going insane. Just getting just like basic just the basic information and everything. So I mean, the thing about it is, it's kind of like what you said. It's like there's not much more you can really, think or say on it until it comes to an end, until it's done. Uh, there's like all these people making all sorts of little speculations, and they are out there. I guess you could say, you ever heard a saying that if you say it harder and louder enough, maybe you can speak it into existence.
Yeah,
So there seems to be a lot of the camp that's out there saying that, well, Microsoft should just go ahead and just sell, just not buy everything else, but agree not to buy Call of Duty, or they should just sell off Call of Duty. And I'm like, I'm just like, like, do you know how idiotic that sounds? So it's all sorts of interesting stuff. And just as I was saying, like on a legal's podcast over a day ago, I'm one of those ones of this other camp, and I see Realist just popped up. Whereas I'm one of the oddballs where I'm kind of like, you know what? Yeah, the deal's going to go through, but I'm one of those ones where it's like I want to have a huge tub of buttered popcorn and a soda and front row seat when if the deal didn't go through, because as I've been telling a lot of these mules and everything, is either way you're screwed. It don't matter. I said the deal goes through, your platform is screwed. The deal don't go through, your platform is extra screwed, because one, you pissed off Bobby Kotick and his gang. You screwed them over out of their get out of jail free card. They were supposed to get
how much
70
money?
bill,
How
70,
much?
huh?
What's his take home on this deal?
Oh
You know,
God, I think it's probably like, because after like the golden parachute and stock options, all sorts of bonuses. Oh God, I can't remember what the hell it was. It was like can't remember if it was like 20 20 billion or some. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Willis. 400 million. But the thing is, yeah, that's 400 million. But still,
wow.
the dude gets stock options too. So, and the thing is, he's actually tired of it. He wants out. This ain't a thing where he's going to take 400 million and turn around and make another game studio. No, he's ready to get out, because he's got bigger fish to fry. In other words, those bigger fish are swatting those lawsuits that are going to be coming his way for a lot of the stuff that he's been doing throughout the years. So he can't manage a huge publisher and try to deal with all this legal stuff that he's about to get slammed with. So the dude wants a way out. And here comes Sony, like, no, you can't do this. Be like, dude, we made the offer to you. You guys are too broke to buy us. so we had to go with choice A, which was Microsoft, because remember, they went to Microsoft first, and Microsoft turned them down, saying no, find somebody else. There was nobody else.
Yeah, they wanted them to fish out, and I thought that was cool of Microsoft to kind of say that. It's like, look, check your options. So
they did that because of all the heat, all that heat that they was about to get hit with, and they were like, man, I'm sure Saudi was looking at Phil like, yeah, Phil, I don't know if we want to go through this. This is looking mighty ugly.
Well, so here, just to add on what you're saying, dude, the thing that people don't realize is that Phil has a big heart. So one of the reasons they're doing this is because Phil really does want to help the people there, right? If you ever watch Phil, and I say this all the time, and I'll mention it here, if you ever want to see Phil get passionate about something, Phil can be like they could be dragging Xbox through the mud, they can be dragging the fan base through the mud, in this console war stuff, which he doesn't care for. But if you start talking about workers who are treated unfairly, especially on a sexual nature or a representation nature, if you want to see Phil get passionate about something, again, the perfect example is Crap Gamer. Then that's an ire with him, right? So I'll be honest. Look, Microsoft, yeah, it'd be good for them on a business sense. But Phil Spencer, if you guys haven't seen with him, man, he's an inclusive type of guy.
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying in a bad way, but I'm just saying one of the reasons why I believe that he convinced Satya to do this is they do want to change the culture, and Phil made a point about that at Activision, which. Look, I don't know the full details of everything that went on in Activision, but across the board, everybody on both sides, right, whether you're PlayStation or Microsoft or you're just a casual, I got a good feeling that things aren't really great for the employees there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't exactly see the bigger picture a lot of times to see beyond themselves that, okay, you're sitting here squawking about you want the deal to fail. So in other words, you're trying to say that you rather Activision just die and these people wind off, out on the street, no job, no money, not able to pay their bills and feed themselves. Is that what y'all trying to say? I thought you guys were all about supporting the developer.
Yeah, that's just a false narrative.
Yeah, but as I keep telling them, I said, look, it don't matter either way the pendulum swings. If the deal fails, you're screwed. So your best bet would be to pray that it does go through. So that way you at least get to walk away with some form of dignity. Because the thing is, you screw and you tick off Bobby Kotick, and 70 billion goes back into Microsoft's coffers. Boy, it's about to get dicey.
If anything happens to that deal, if I'm Microsoft, I'm going scorched earth, basically.
Dude, you might as well, because if you think about it, that's what Sony did. Sony just started burning bridges left and right. That's the other thing, guys. That's the other thing is, look how many of their own affiliates they have thrown under the bus just for the sake of one damn game. Now, what they turned around and did with all this hooping and hollering is, thanks to them, now all the regulatory bodies around the world are going to scrutinize the gaming industry a lot more tighter than ever before now.
No, it's yeah, but that's a political thing. That is this is why I don't touch on it a lot in my own channel. I focused on it in the beginning. But after a while, you could just see that it's all politics. That's all it is. It's not Xbox. It's not PlayStation. It's Microsoft. Is why they're drawing the ire of all these government agencies. But real quick, hey Sigaman, do you want to throw your 2 cents in? Oh, Sigaman, are you there? No. Okay.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah. Before our brother Unlimited goes, because I'm Unlimited and Fireboss are pretty much on point when it comes to this Activision Blizzard thing. Me and Unlimited had talked about this in an earlier Alpha podcast, and me and him are both convinced they can say whatever they want and speculate whatever they want. This deal is going to go through. It's going to go through, man, because just like Fireboss said too, what do you want to do? You want to see this company go under? Do you want to see these people lose jobs? They have families to take care of. They have mouths to feed. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, this is a fucking business, all right? Just because you don't like Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard because it's not going to be exclusive no more to or be on your preferred console, you know, as like you just saying that, you know, Call of Duty, and Unlimited knows this and Fireboss knows this. They have no exclusive shooter. They have no good shooter over there. The only good shooter they have over there is from Activision, and that's Call of Duty, and that doesn't even belong to them. We have shooters that were made in-house that are on Microsoft, like Halo, Gears of War, you know, different games like that. They don't even have a real shooter. The only one they had was Counter-Strike back in the day, and they don't even have that shit anymore. You know what I mean? So start being innovative. Start making your own shit, and stop trying to worry about what Microsoft is doing, trying to acquire this studio. You know, Phil Spencer was nice and said, "Hey, we'll give you guys a 10-year deal," and they turned that down. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want the 10-year thing. He tried to play nice with them, man. You know what I mean? They don't want nothing to be exclusive or be over here on Xbox. And Phil Spencer said it many times in numerous interviews, and Unlimited and Fireboss, you can contest to this. They keep trying to ask Phil, about Call of Duty this, Call of Duty that, Call of Duty this, Call of Duty that, and he's told them numerous times that they're not trying to take it off of fucking PlayStation. What they're doing is they're saving Activision as a company, keeping these people, with a job. You know what I mean? Making these great games. Now, you might not see certain games like Crash Bandicoot might not be over there no more. Spyro the Dragon might. Too bad. If you want to play those games, get yourself a Obama phone if you can't afford, a Xbox. You know what I mean? Get a laptop or whatever. You can play those games if you don't want to play it on an Xbox. There's different ways to play Xbox games. You don't have to own an Xbox. So I believe, guys, Unlimited is with me on this, and Fireboss. They're going to get Activision Blizzard. It's going to happen. There's no what if and this might happen and all that. I don't believe it. I believe that Microsoft will get Activision Blizzard, man. I really believe that's going to happen. It might take a while, but they're going to get it. You know what I mean? If they don't like it, that's too goddamn bad. You had your options. Microsoft gave Sony options, and they turned every option down. You know what I mean? So that's what I have to say about it, Sega Forever. I believe that the deal is going to happen, regardless. And then Fireboss even said, if it doesn't, they're still fucking screwed. They're still screwed, so it doesn't matter either which way. And at the end of the day, if we didn't get Activision Blizzard, it's not going to stop Unlimited from playing games on Xbox. It's not going to stop me from playing games on Xbox. It's not going to stop Fireboss, Hebot, you, Sega Forever.
Nope.
They might acquire other studios if they don't get them. They'll just acquire other studios because they're still going to get more studios even after they get Activision Blizzard. They're not done yet. So it doesn't matter, man. Either way.
That's why I said they better pray to God that the deal does go through.
Right. That's right, Fireboss. Tell them, because, hey, they're still screwed no matter what, Sega Forever, man. That's all I got to say on it. It don't matter. They're still going to be screwed. It doesn't matter, at the end of the day.
No, great points, and I'm 100% with you, man. I've always held this line that the deal is going to go through. And, of course, you saw over the last 2 weeks, especially when the CMA posted their stuff, which nobody read, right? It's just like everything else, right? That people go with what the headline is, and they lose their minds. And I'm talking, these are Xbox guys.
Yeah.
It's over. The deal is blocked. And I'm like, dude, do you understand that Microsoft is a $1.3 trillion company?
Right.
Right. Do you understand that what you're dealing with has nothing to do basically with video games? It has all to do with politics. Right. If you guys would just take a little bit of time, as Unlimited likes to say, right, and Google, do some Googling.
Yeah,
since
right.
we're Xbox guys and we get points, we'll do some binging. right? Because that's what I use. I use Bing so I can get my points. I almost got another $100 coming down the pipe because I went nuts on the anime sale. But it's basically like a lot of these people are reactionary, right? But all of us in here, man, and it's to include the guys that are in our circle that aren't with us on our brothers that aren't with us on this podcast. Dude. We've held a line on this, dude. We don't. There's no way that this deal is not going to go through, right? And the reason why we're saying that is because it just makes better sense for everybody across the board. And I'll just give unlimited. I'll just finish mine right now, and then you can go after. There's two things that I like about this, right? As a Sega guy, as you guys know, my gamer tag is Sega Forever. As a Sega guy, I love this deal, and I know Realist had a really good. I think, hey, Realist, I think you echo a lot of people so tired of that deal, right? But as a Sega guy, I know how crooked Sony is, and the sad thing about Sony is like when most people look at what Sony does, right? It's evil, right? Or they're lying. It's backdoor stuff. But for Sony, I say this all the time. Sony, this is what they call business, right? They don't look at it in that terms. They'll do whatever it takes to kill this deal because that's just the way it is. You pose the question, do they not care about the workers and their families? No, they don't. And a lot of the ponies don't either, man. As long as they can get a notch in their belt in this console war, dude, they'll be fine with it, right? And that's the sad reality of it. So that's why I'm glad this continues to go. When I saw that Microsoft finally put their foot down and said, no, dude, we want that information. Where are you getting this information? That was a strong move on their part, which we normally don't see. But it's getting to the point now where Microsoft has to do that. Right? And the longer this goes on, the more you're going to see that Sony is not that. Sony is a paper tiger. And I know E-Rock's been saying this for a long time, and everybody's been hating on him back in the day. But now people are starting to come around, right? As his podcast grows, right? As the people in the comment section and the following start growing, right? They're beginning to realize that he's right? That you got to keep your boot on their neck, right? That they need to go. These guys need to go to where the dinosaur, man, because all that Sony's doing right now is holding gaming back. And that's the truth. The stuff that Sony guys that they accuse Microsoft of doing and Xbox and us Xbotians, right, is the very thing that they do. So that's why I like that this is happening. Because for me, like you guys are saying, regardless of happening, the biggest problem I have with myself in gaming right now is what am I going to play and when am I going to find the time? And how come they keep on putting games in here that I want to play every single week, right? Why am I staying up at 3 a.m, getting up at 5 a.m. to go to work, knowing that I shouldn't do that because I'm not young anymore, right? That I have to go to the store first thing in the morning and get a Monster drink just to stay awake for 8 hours, just to come home, tell myself I'm going to take a nap and then play for another 8 hours. Right? I haven't done this stuff since I was like 20, right? And that's the only problem I have going on with this, right? And then the second thing I like about this deal that's happening is that a lot of gamers are beginning to understand, they're becoming based, right? And they're beginning to understand that when it comes to these regulatory agencies, they don't know anything about what they're talking about. None of these guys are gamers. A lot of the stuff that they say is basically talking points they get from Sony. And then when you look at some of the stuff that they're accusing Microsoft of doing, and then you see that other companies, not just Sony, but other companies out there are doing themselves, right? Then you begin to realize that government overreach is real, right? And I'll put Red Dragon on blast because he was sitting out there saying how he wants to deal to basically what the CMA is doing is the right thing to do. And I told Red Dragon, I didn't know you're a big government guy, right? And I hope you keep that same energy when it comes when they start coming for your company, right? Because this is not about being consumer friendly. It's about power and control. That's all this thing is about. That's another reason why I like seeing that. And there's a lot of people that normally don't think about it. And I'm not talking about politics like red and blue kind of thing. I'm just talking about politicking in general, like politicking in big business, like who's getting the deals, who's getting the backdoor stuff, why are they doing the stuff that they're doing. So I think that's important. There was a guy back in the day that actually did a lot of stuff to give gamers representation in DC. I actually liked him. I used to follow him. But because gamers are gamers, right? So gamers don't really keep up with that kind of stuff. Go see G4. One of the reasons a station like G4, as good as Sester was, as good as Attack of the Show was, and all the stuff that we liked about G4, the problem with that is a medium that requires gamers to pay attention. And what would you rather do? Watch a show about gaming or play video games? That's just the reality of it. You have to make a really great argument to have people wanting to watch your content. Right? And when it comes to video gaming, especially given a lot of the stuff I have with Game Pass, right? I'd rather be playing my games than watching. That's another reason why I don't do a lot of videos on my channel either. But I thank the Brotherhood here for keeping up and picking up the slack, especially Unlimited, man. So Unlimited, do you have any thoughts on the Activision deal?
My thoughts on this Activision thing is, I think what's happened is pretty standard. It's just that for the first time in gaming, this is the first time we've seen a merger like this. So everybody's getting a first hand look of what say WB and Discovery went through for the years before that was approved early this year, or what Time Warner and AOL went through back in like 2000 2001, right? Where there's a lot, you got to go through all this BS, get stuff approved, gets regulators got to quote unquote do their job, and I say that in the loosest sense possible, because as we see, these regulators don't actually know what they're talking about,
No, they
right?
don't. Yeah.
Not even close. But hey, they think they're making a paycheck, with these shallow and terrible
Hey,
arguments.
Unlimited. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
It's kind of like I have my two kids,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like these regulatory agents look like parents trying to tell their kids something about
Right.
what's kind of like the newest thing, and the parents are trying to be cool and they want their kids to like them and stuff like that. I learned that a long time ago, that I just let my kids be my kids and they're into the things that they're into. Right, but that's
Yeah.
what it kind of reminds me of when I see these guys. It's like a bunch of people that have no clue what they're talking about, trying to tell the rest of us, what we know.
Yeah, no clue at all, man. Sometimes they even sound more out of touch than politicians.
Yes,
The way that they be talking. But all this is just to say this. This is just standard practice. Everything's gonna go through. I have 110% faith that whenever it's approved, it's gonna be approved. Whether it's this summer, whether it's 2024, doesn't matter. All that's happening is Sony's trying to stall. And if you I don't know how much y'all been keeping up, but Microsoft subpoenaed Sony, and Sony is refusing. Bobby Kotick literally said Sony isn't even accepting calls or any type of communication between Activision and Microsoft anymore. It's just a stall tactic because they know that they're about to lose 17% of their annual revenue on a game that they bedged their heads on, because unlike Microsoft, Microsoft lost the Call of Duty rights from the early Xbox One generation, and they're fine, as we see that they literally about to own two of the biggest publishers in gaming. Sony, however, as our brother Others Inc. always said, their games don't have recurring profits. Their games, they could brag that God of War Ragnarok sold 11 million.
But God
It
of
doesn't
War
matter
because ain't got no legs because he can't jump.
Exactly. No wings at all, man. And here's the thing. God of War was bundled with the PlayStation 5 immediately after it was released. Immediately. And I've seen people try to compare it with Forza. Forza Horizon 5 came out in 2021. It's now being bundled with the Xbox Series X in 2023. That game has already had a success. That game had 1 million players before it launched, and you had to pay to play it early. So spare me this fucking nonsense that Microsoft is doing it too with Forza. No. All right. So Sony bundled God of War with the console. It's available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and they're trying to brag about, it sold 11 million. Well, what does that 11 million sales mean if you're scared of losing one game franchise? They're not scared of
that 11 million was said to pad the 35 million PS5s they just sold.
Yeah, exactly. and you know that the PS5 numbers, they change every week. 1 minute is 30 million, the next is 35. This week it was 32 million. So I don't know how they aren't investigated with their flummoxing numbers. So Sony's weak ass stall tactics means nothing to me. It's just them being scared like they always are, because they're about to lose a large percent of their revenue because they don't have multiplayer games to keep up. That's why Sony is currently in development, guys, of 10 games as a service game.
You better get it correct. They got factions, buddy. Remember that.
Factions. Where can I play factions? Hold on, boss. Where do I play factions at? Show me the gameplay. Show me the release date. Show me something, man. Until I see something, that game's a bigger mystery than the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh man, dude,
we haven't seen anything of that. Factions.
We haven't seen. Hey, Unlimited. It's like taking a picture. It's like the infamous picture of Bigfoot strolling away from the camera.
Yo, they about to do documentaries on the History Channel about factions, man. This game was first shown in 2019, and we haven't seen it since.
You got like the old white guy who looks like he's like a hunt. Like he's a hunter. He's showing like a cast in mud.
Yeah.
A cast of mud of like the disc that should have had factions on it.
Yo, Fire Boss. Neil Druckmann don't even give updates on faction. That game just disappeared, right? And nobody. We're all the people who are saying that game's incomplete, because it is incomplete, by the way. Because if they promise you a whole multiplayer and never release, that's an incomplete game.
True that.
Yeah. And Radiance brings up the behavioral remedies. Again, nonsense. That's not going to happen. Microsoft did not drop $70 billion to sell off Call of Duty. Come on now. Microsoft has also said they're not going to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation. And it's like that just goes in here and out the other for the CMA. But again, I think that this is just regulator nonsense. They're trying to get their paychecks. They're trying to get that overtime pay by stalling this stuff. It means nothing to me.
Bro,
right?
That's such a government mind thing, bro. When I saw that, they were like, yeah, we might need to break it off. I'm like, what? Break it off?
That's like teachers when you was a kid. That's like teachers when you was a kid, where you like, this is your transformer, but the other kid is trying to take it, and it's like, I tell you what, why don't you just give it to me, and I'll decide when whoever gets to play with it. And it's like, but my folks paid for it. It's mine.
When can I come back?
The way I'm gonna tell you right now, the way it's going,
Mm-hmm.
they better hope and pray to God above that Bobby just doesn't say, you know what, screw it. Microsoft, just go ahead and back off. We'll call you in about 2 months. 2 months later, yeah, we decided to sell the IP itself, Raven Studios, Treyarch. We're just selling these things piecemeal. We're not selling the whole Activision. We're just selling everything piecemeal. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit harder to try to block that.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to block anything anyway. So
Dude, they're so ridiculous with the stuff they say, man. It's just funny to me. And the thing that's even more ridiculous is the reaction. There are so many people in the beginning of the week when it dropped, right, that were saying that, like I said earlier, the deal was blocked and all this kind of stuff, that were making different videos today. And the only reason I watched it is because I knew I wanted to do this podcast, so I wanted to get a feel for what's going on in our community.
Right.
And like everything else, this community is absolutely weak, except for the people here.
Yeah. The Xbox community, sometimes they drive me crazy too. But you know what? People like Dia and Goggo Poe and people who that be on my comments on the Unlimited Truth, Radiant and all them, I think that they're more of the core people than all the crybabies on Twitter who don't understand anything.
The amount of people that was doing live reactions to the Xbox Developers Conference blew my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm sitting there watching them. I'm like, number one, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. Because if Xbox isn't putting out anything, you guys have nothing.
Right.
And then number two, I'm like, why are you reacting to this? Because it's a developer direct, which is Microsoft specific. And then quite a few of them in their stuff was like, well, I don't like this game. Minecraft Legends, you know what I mean? So I was just basically, and in all their comments, I wrote something. I'm like, oh, okay, why did you watch this? Because it didn't make any sense to me. Like, that's what I don't do, man. It's like, look, dude, I canceled my Disney Plus subscription because there's nothing that they have on there that I want to watch right now. Maybe later on in the year, I'll come back. I just watched, I got Paramount because I wanted to watch Halo. Because all the Halo guys have been telling me, dude, you got to watch it. So, okay, I'm going to watch it. But I didn't know that Sylvester Stallone, was it King of Tulsa, was on there. So I actually watched that and I blew through it. It was awesome. So that's basically like what we're looking at right now, right? With Game Pass. The thing I'm banking on as far as the subscription service and stuff like that is that the people that come in will just be enamored by all the variety and find stuff that they like to play.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead. This comment section I'm sorry guys, I can't keep up with this comment section. Everybody's got great comments. Data is on fire. Everybody is. I see Fireball's at least trying to answer. Not bad.
Oh no, I'm just going back and forth with realists.
Yeah, I see.
Right. We're unofficial tag team partners on stuff. Yep. You guys should. I mean, I know y'all don't like messing around with Twitter, but y'all really should take a peek in there. Take a peek at how he be sweeping the legs on a lot of these jokers. Just out of the blue, it's like you get your average mule that's like on a roll, then all of a sudden out of nowhere here he comes, just sticking a foot out from under the table and tripping them up like, oh well, wait a minute. Having them so pissed off they can't even respond properly.
Yeah. They be they be fuming when they get mad. It's almost childish. This should be funny.
Do you guys watch Turboverse? You watch
Yeah. I sometimes see his videos.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. Just he begins all the reactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can move on to the final topic, man, if you guys are done.
Yeah, that's cool.
But basically, I just wanted to get you guys, what you guys think the pulse of for the state of gaming 2023 so far. Like, how do you think it's going for Xbox?
I mean, right now they're on a 10 out of 10 win streak. How can any Xbox fan not be excited? You just had Hi-Fi Rush Shadow dropped. You're getting Forza, Redfall, and Starfield, most likely all between now and June. We don't know what's coming in the second half of the year, but we know they're going to drop something. We know that they're not going to have the same situation last year where they had nothing to holiday, because historically Xbox always have a big holiday game. 2022 was an outlier. The normal is like how in 2019 Gears 5 was their big holiday game. Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 and Flight Simulator, their big holiday games in the second half of that year. 2018 when they had what was that game in 2018? It's escaping my head at the moment. That they had in 2018 was their big game that holiday. So every holiday, they at least have that. They at least make sure they get at least that one big game. So we know we're gonna get something in between October, November, December that's releasing as well from their first party studios. So I don't see anything but excitement. 10 out of 10. 2023 is just proven to be like the best year in gaming since like a 2007 or 2011 or 1998 or 2004. Those historically amazing years we had. That's how this. We're only in February and I'm already like, man, how the hell am I going to play all this? I'm not. There's going to be some games that I'm just not going to be able to play this year, and they'll be great games. And that's because this year is absolutely stacked.
That's right.
No, I 100% agree. There's a couple games that are leaving Game Pass that I'm just going to go ahead and buy. I kind of forgot about them.
Yeah.
I think Eba was playing one of them, Skull. Curse of the Skull or whatever. It's like a platformer. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Man, I love watching Hiba's gameplay because I immediately go to Game Pass or the Xbox store looking for it.
Yeah.
Cause I never heard about these games until Hebot played. I'm like, what the hell is Hebot playing now?
Oh, he'd be breaking it down in his videos too.
Yeah.
Talking about the control stuff. You're like, dang, dude. This dude is old school, you can tell. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I was kind of like I was kind of relishing in the fact that we didn't get a lot of stuff over the holidays as far as, the cadence of what they were dropping kind of slowed down, which made a lot of sense because there's a lot of stuff that dropped and people were playing. And plus, it's the holidays and everybody had to do stuff. But man, they picked it up real quick in January. And I find myself stuck in 2023, repeating what happened last year in 2022, where you're just trying to scramble for time to play games. At least for me. So, 100% agree with you. Let's say, man, you got anything?
What's that?
Do you got anything you want to talk about? The state of gaming for 2022?
There's a lot of YouTubers out here, man, that say stuff when they do their podcast, and I don't want to say who they are, and they can do the podcast whichever way they want to. It's their channel, but I'm just tired of them always saying, "Well, Xbox didn't really have such a good 2022, and it's going to get better in 2023." They keep saying this all the time. Xbox was fine in 2022. All right, they were fine in 2021. So I don't know why they keep saying shit like because they didn't have a AAA exclusive release in 2022, and they're going to have more of this and that in 2023, and it's going
This
to
is
get
the most
better.
idiotic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand why they do this, and I think they probably do it just for clickbaiting, is what I'm thinking. But this certain YouTuber, he should know better than to do that, man.
You can
Because
say their name if you want to, brother. I don't care. You can put them on blast.
I'm not gonna put him on black. I'm not gonna put him on wax. I'm gonna put him on wax, man. But we had a great 2022. All right, it didn't say, oh, it's gonna get better. It's gonna be more exclusive for 2023. No, we've been having a pretty good couple of years. And one of the huge big reasons is because of Ultimate Game Pass, man. We've been having a great couple of years. It's just going to get really, really, really good in the oncoming years, man. There was nothing wrong with 2022. So what I'm looking forward to for 2023 is all the games we talked about today, fellas, on the show, on the Wrecking Crew. We got Atomic Heart coming. Brother Unlimited's playing Hogwarts. T Reaper is playing Hogwarts, and then and I believe E-Rock. So it's only getting better, and we got more games that are going to be coming, like Forza. We got Forza that's going to be coming. We got Redfall it's going to be coming soon. Probably we'll see some more about State of Decay 3. Hellblade 2. We got a lot of games that is going to be coming and dropping here pretty soon. So, we're not worried about that, man. That's the thing. People always stuck on big exclusives. Big exclusives are not the only end all be all. They're just not. There's other great games that are going to come out that are going to be good. And some of them sometimes are better than exclusives. Some of the other games that come out, man. Look at what we got. Hi-Fi Rush, High on Life. Great bangers that they call them. You know what I mean? They have came out. And they're doing very well, especially on Game Pass, man. Look how high, I was at High on Life, #1 game. Hi-Fi Rush, #1 game. We're doing very well over here. You know what I mean? And we were doing good last year and the year before. So these dudes need to quit with all that bullshit, man. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to a great fall. I think we're going to get some surprises. In the fall, E3, we're going to have some great surprises, man, that are coming out for Xbox. You just wait and see. Wait and see, man, because it's coming. You know who should really be worried about things is Sony. So a lot of those guys that do those YouTube channels, you need to start talking about Sony to start bringing out so-called bangers. Start bringing out better games, because they never talk about the games they're bringing out. Now, do they, brothers?
Nope.
Not for long.
They never talk about the games that they're bringing out, right, Fireboss? They could talk about Xbox all day long, but they never talk about what Sony's bringing out. Is Sony bringing out any bangers? Is Sony bringing out anything? Where's Wolverine? Is that coming out in 2028? I mean, where's all these big games that are supposed to be coming out? They're not talking about none of those games. They just keep talking about Xbox, 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 like E-Rock says. So that's what I think about it, brother Sega Forever. We're fine over here. Like I always say, brothers, we're eating good over here, man. We are. We're eating very well over here, and we're very satisfied, and we're highly invested in the Xbox ecosystem because Phil Spencer and the crew are taking care of us when it comes to gaming. We're true gamers over here, man. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of people always saying Xbox, they didn't do so great in 2022 and 2023 is going to get better. It's going to get better. You'll see. It's been better. It's been better. Since Ultimate Game Pass came out, it's been better, bro. You know what I mean? So they need to stop all that bullshit, man. You know what I mean? That's what I think, Sega Forever, my brother. That we got games coming all the time in Game Pass every week, every other week sometimes, dude. It's hard to keep up. Look at all these games being unlimited. Got to play Fireboss, Sega Forever, E-Rock, Heba, all. But there's so many games. It's hard to even catch up, bro. It's hard to catch up. Once play one game, Unlimited can be playing Hogwarts for a while. There might be, I don't know, 7 more games that drop out in Game Pass. So I mean, there's a lot to play over here, man. There's a lot to play. You know, Xbox got no games, so we're sure playing a lot of games, Sega Forever, not to have no games, right? I don't know what to think about that, brother, but that's what I gotta say on it, my man.
It's like I said before, it was to a point where sometimes like I wish the game does suck or I don't like it, so I can just move on.
Yeah.
But it's not like that at all. I mean, there's like you hear the proverbial, the one thing. Oh, we lost. I'm pretty sure he'll pop back in. It's the proverbial like well, that's not my type of game, or that kind of game's not meant for me. When I hear that, I'm like, well, what game is meant for you, dude? Besides God of War, which you constantly talk about. And this isn't even on the Xbox side, like I said. But real quick, man, this chat is amazing, dude. I just want to say to you guys, man, thank you guys for participating because I love this. Right. But they have put these the realist one. I agree 100%. These so-called Xbox fans are some of the worst. They almost made me regret falling in love with Halo Infinite. But I thought to myself, screw those guys. I love what I love. That's 100%, man. And then Realist said, agreed. Halo dropped the ball on free-to-play content, but what they released was great. They won, so I want to highlight this from the Realist because I feel exactly the same way. The only knock I probably have with Halo Infinite, and it's not really a knock, it's just that they could have done a better job. Was the free-to-play content, right? Because they went live service on it, but everything else about Halo was awesome. I suffer from the problem with Halo. It's probably because where I live. So I'm probably not as close to a server. It takes me a while to get into games. And I'm not talking, dude, like a minute or two, man. I'm talking, I'm in there. I'm waiting for games for like over 7 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize how low my phone was. It didn't the screen didn't dim. It didn't give me no like, you get the little ping, little noise, little notification noise. It didn't give me any of that. It just boop, gone.
Yeah, it's 2023, man. It's like, oh, we out.
Like you talk too much. You need to shut up.
No, but I agree with Realist. That's the only problem I had with it, and it's not really a problem, like I say. It's just, it's just something that they have to work through. But everything other than that, man, it reminds me of like when Halo 5 and the multiplayer and stuff like that released. How everybody was talking about the ground punch. Was that 5? That was 5, right? With the ground and pound. And the multiplayer, and at first it's something that you have to get used to, but I picked that up real quick and I ended up loving it. That's probably like one of the best multiplayers I've ever played. And even for
by the way, you guys can still hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay.
We're just touching base on the chat right now. But Fireboss, go ahead, man. You're 2023.
Oh, but no, when I left out before I got yanked off a stage. by my phone and everything is just like what Realist was opening up with is just one thing I've been noticing a lot, which has really been kind of like ticking me off, is how a lot of people, not necessarily Sony people, but especially a lot of so-called Xbox people, have been trying to pull a lot of steam and momentum away from Xbox's own, not just the studios, but Xbox's own tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody in particular? Oh, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fireboss.
Fireboss, are you there?
I think he's having audio issues, brother.
Yeah, I think so.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay,
yes.
We got you.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I was asking, could you guys hear me? Because I usually don't like using this tablet because this is what I do my work on. But for some odd reason, every time I like switch screens to like try to work while talking, it'll kill my mic. So the whole time I can hear you guys, but it just even though I'm talking, so the mic should be active, it just kills me. So, but either way, I'll keep it on here. So, but no, as I was saying, is the thing that's really been like bothering me is how everybody's been trying to like just completely just take all these little backhanded shots at Xbox's own tools and stuff. And the first thing they want to always keep doing is like UE5, UE5, UE5. And yeah, UE5 is it's a goddamn awesome tool for people who are looking to quickly get something out there, especially if you're especially if you're an unknown indie team and stuff. Now, this is me, kind of like like spinning off of my own experience as an indie dev and everything like that. Whereas we could have used Unreal 4, but every programmer that I had on the team that has took over, they did not want to use Unreal, and they didn't want to use I think I've only had like 2 guys out of all the programmers we swapped through that wanted to either use Unreal or use Unity. But the ones who instead wanted to just create their own engines for what we was doing, they all had the same thing, which this is what I have to spin to people, is you have to understand one thing, the most important thing of all right, is that it's the same as renting a car. There's only but so much you can do with it, and so far you can go with it without the permission of the actual owner. Your hands are binded legally. So in other words, everything that makes Halo is in that slip space. All right. It's there. All right. Now they're going to have to modify that code, especially out of the physics and everything, to make Unreal Engine even equate to what slip space is able to do. Because if it was that easy, they just would have went with Unreal, right or wrong.
Yeah,
But as you notice,
I agree with you 100% on that.
yeah, but as you notice, they didn't. This wasn't a bragging point to them. This wasn't a puff out and beat your chest moment. It was a conscientious business decision to go with their own, because they know that there's a lot of things that they're going to need to do that Epic is not going to be probably too keen on, unless they're willing to share that code and help provide people on hand to maintain it. I mean, dude, they're already like milking off of the coalition to get the Unreal Engine 5 up to snuff. So
is that what they're
all
gonna
this,
do? Are they gonna get rid of using Slipstream? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. I believe what's going on is somebody is basically just out there spreading a lot of false. I'll put it like this: it's one of those things where it's like, let's sit and let's wait and see, because I mean there is the little upcoming battle royal that they keep talking about. So they keep saying, oh, Certain Affinities is going to be the one leading the charge using Unreal 5. And to me, it's kind of like, I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
But it also going off of slip space, let's talk about Forza Tech 2.0. I mean, dude, we saw it. We all during that showcase saw the promise of what that that engine brings. Fable is going to be developed in that. You're going to be having a game where you got this realistic global illumination lighting with that's ray traced, and it's going to be 4K 60. I mean, dude, you can't beat that with a wiffle ball bat. But here it is. You got people who are like, oh, that's a racing engine. Oh, it's not going to work because that engine's made for racing. And it's like, dude, I'm gonna tell you something that my last lead programmer had to break down and explain to people. There's no such thing as an engine that's only made for one thing and one thing only. An engine can do whatever the hell you need it to do, providing you have the skill, the know-how, and the most important. He said the most important thing is that you have to have the imagination. Because being a coder, even though you're not doing graphics and sound, that's also a creative process as well. You have to be able to creatively think on your feet. So to him, it's like when people say that, oh, you can't do this with that engine, that's kind of an insult to a lot of programmers, to a lot of developers. Now, could it go faster with UE? Yeah, it most definitely could.
So how
But
much of
but
the stuff that we're hearing about is stuff that actually just goes on in the background that we're not privy to? And then a lot of people are just getting a hold of it through whatever their insiders or their sources and stuff are putting it out there. But does this stuff happen regularly? That's what I hear a lot of people say that are in the know when it comes to programming or engineering and stuff like that. They're like, no, this stuff happens all the time. Is that true from your experience?
no, I'm sorry, it cut out. What you said?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, all the stuff that you're talking about, everything we hear, is this like just par for the course? Like it just happens. It's just that everybody's trying to bring it to light now. It's actually put in the public eye, and you have a lot of people commenting on it that don't know the process.
Oh, about how programmers work with engines and stuff like that.
Yeah, how you say everything's got to, yeah, I agree with that because I see it all the
It,
time. I work with a lot of engineers and stuff like that.
oh, yeah, it's one of those. You're dealing with a thing where you got the average casual people that would probably never in their entire life, I mean, they can sit there and think about like a game,
Yeah,
but will they actually sit down and jot up the notes? And, actually make their own, you know, create their own notes and stuff. Um, make journals and stuff like that. Actually sketch up designs. There's a lot of them that won't do that.
right.
And the thing is like there's so many different faces on that very die for as far as game development goes. You have like the creative side, you have the technical side, you have the audio and sound, and each one, even though they come together into one unified piece of work, they are different, and the approach to them is different in their own way and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the thing is, so the true magic is actually getting these different people of different mindsets with different disciplines coming together under one umbrella. It's like uniting the Voltron force and everything. That's basically what it is. Because remember when they started trying to like merge into Voltron, they were like bumping into each other, crashing all over the place. That's how it always is. So a lot of the stuff like we're seeing that they keep bringing light about how the teams are falling apart and there's people leaving and they can't understand slip space. Forza Tech is too hard. I mean, well, I guess it would be if you only have like 6 months, 6 months to train on this thing, and all you ever known since you left Full Sail was Unreal Engine. but you never had a chance to touch anyone else's engine.
You know what it reminds me of when you're saying that, dude? It's just like when I was in the Navy, right? And then you get that right behind the ears officer, that ensign comes in, who had all that training in school, and then when he gets put into the fleet, it's like a whole other ballgame, right? Because you're dealing with stuff in real time. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and see, just like what Realist is saying, what they're asking is like it's like walking up to Capcom, telling them like, hey, we need to abandon the RE engine for Unreal 5. Yeah, you're looking at a fast track, not to the front office, not to your own corner office, but to the but basically outside the door. Because that is a lot of money, that is a lot of investment, that is a lot of time, and it's like dude, it's like with the Decima engine, dude. It's like we see a lot of woes and dings and blips and everything with that engine, as outdated as it is, but people took their time to sit down there and learn it. So what's the harm in people taking their time to sit down and learn slip space? What's the point?
Yeah, it's interesting to me because this is what I thought Phil Spencer, this is what they wanted, right? Because out of chaos comes a lot of creativity, right? So this is something, basically like catching lightning in a bottle kind of deal, like moving forward for them, like pushing next generation and stuff like that. Like the saying goes, you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. And I was
Yeah.
fine with that, man. The only problem I see, the reason why I don't have a problem with what Microsoft is doing, because I know they are taking a lot of risks, right? And I know that they're the subject of a lot of speculation and rumor, and a lot of stuff gets put out there that's not true. Some might be, but most isn't. But the reason I never have a problem with that, again, to go back to what Sigma is saying, is because we got stuff to play. And that's why I have confidence in what Microsoft is doing. I'm pretty sure they understand that this was going to be like a trial by fire thing, right? This is something that, because they want that, dude. They want that next best thing, right? Everybody's pushing, because this is why I can't stand people, right? People sit there and say, well, we want you to push the envelope. We want something new. We want something different. And then by their actions and their words, they really don't want anything different. Because to
Yeah,
create
and that,
something different, right, you got to do things like this. But at least Microsoft was smart enough to say, okay, look, we're working on this. We're working on these studios. We want them to have free time. We don't want crunch, right? We want them to be happy, but at the same time, we want this chaos going so we can find something to be creative. We got these people can help on this. We got people can help on that. People that are experts on this. People that not so much. But with all this amalgamation of thought and the process and stuff like that, you might come up with something that's good. But in the meantime, here's here's Monster World Hunter. In the meantime, here's Age of Empires 2. In the meantime, here's a bunch of these games that they just keep on dropping us in Game Pass to satiate the people who are supposed to be gamers that like to play games, right? So that's why I guess like what you're saying, I have no problem with it, just because of the fact that I understand what they are trying to do, especially like they're putting the tag of the next generation of gaming, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
Mhm.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no. Oh no, dude. I was listening to you, and I was also like reading what Mr. Kima said, because I didn't even I don't know. I'm Kima. I'm gonna have to look that up, man. You saying that flight simulator is running on Forza Tech? I thought that was I thought that studio's own engine. But if it's Forza Tech, that's pretty damn good.
Don't they both
That kind of like,
don't they
huh?
both use that photo what do they call it? Photo
Yeah, photogrammetry.
yeah, photo thank you.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because that kind of like leads me to feeling like the next Forza Horizon. Well, after they do Japan, they need to do a Forza Horizon where it's like, you have yeah, Sobo. Thanks, Aurelius. It's like you basically have like your team, your own race team and stuff, and you guys can actually like fly the plane to where you want to race to. So you got like part flight sim, and also then you got your, yeah, that would be, I don't know, that would be tight. It'd be a lot of work, but that'd be tight. But yeah, back to what I was saying, it's just everybody. Okay, yeah, thanks, Rose. Okay, it's using Ace Engine, but yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of people that, I don't know. It's like a joke about it, but it seems like it's people that last gen severely traumatized them. that's what it feels like. It just feels like last gen traumatized these people, and yeah, and they don't.
I have a darker opinion about that, but that's just me.
Oh,
So sorry,
yeah,
Unlimited,
I mean,
were you gonna say something? Unlimited, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think he. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, were you saying something?
No. I was doing something while y'all are talking.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay.
Oh, but yeah, like I said, it just seems like they're traumatized, man. It's like anything that Xbox does that is positive, anything that Microsoft does that is positive, is always met with all this cynicism, all this scrutiny and everything. It's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. But yet, the moment Nintendo does something, the moment Sony does something, oh, good job, guys. You're beautiful. Always pushing gaming forward. Personally, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel that neither one of them is pushing gaming forward. I feel like they're both two heavy anchors trying to hold gaming back. If anything, if they had their choice, they want to drag gaming back into the 90s.
No, that's what Sony's doing right now. That's why they're like a little petulant kid. right now, and then Microsoft needs to put a whooping.
Yeah,
on it.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I'm with you
go
there,
ahead.
Fireboss.
Yeah.
Nintendo. I mean, listen, if you own a Nintendo, you're stuck in 97. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Have
Unlimited.
you
You're
ever
supposed to be
seen how you
playing
got
with
to use
power.
online on a Nintendo console?
Save your power.
Yeah, yeah. No. That was their phrase back in the day, but not now. You're playing with shit. You playing with a 1996 compact video game equivalent with Nintendo. And so Sony wants either two things. They either want to be stuck in PlayStation 2, where they had 90% of the console market and no competition, or the PlayStation 4 era, where they got a free pass for zero innovation. So I'm with you 100% there, Fireboss.
Yeah, and see the thing is, all the stuff that we're seeing, if you really think about it, this is nothing. This is the last fight, fellas. This is the war of all wars that we're seeing now. You remember how everybody, like, Avengers, how everybody was coming out them portals and stuff like that. That's what's going on. Is everybody is trying to fight for their lives because they don't want to get dragged kicking and screaming into the future. And that's what Microsoft is doing. Is it's like, look, um gaming is not going anywhere at this rate, because, a matter of fact, I believe Phil even talked about that. It's like they have to move gaming forward. Because the one thing I try to explain to a lot of people is like, look, man, I lived through the video game crash. All right. I damn sure don't want to see another one.
I don't
But
know. If Sony gets its way, you might see it.
yeah, so, but either way, man, that's about it. I mean, it's, as far as the positive aspects go and everything like that, dude, even though it's not my favorite genre, which I'm really, really hoping, Phil and Sarah and all of them eventually, kind of, and Matt, they eventually kind of fix and stuff like that. I'm hoping they eventually do, because they talked about it, and that's acquiring more first party Japanese. But it's just that, even though it's not the stuff that, I'm more vested in, more so than ever, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that is like, man, I'm going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be tying me over, even though there's not going to be that many JRPGs, other than was it Yuden Chronicles? Was it 100 Heroes or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's coming up. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for it.
Yeah, dude, I'm probably going to be missing. I'm probably going to be missing in action when Starfield drops. All right, I'm going to be gone. you won't even remember that I existed. I'll just be a faded memory. And when Avowed hit, you guys really ain't going to hear from me. So, I mean, there's so much coming down the pipeline. And when I keep seeing all these people keep popping up about, like, Xbox, Phil's a liar and all this other stuff like that, dude, I'm like this. Well, Phil, keep telling me more sweet lies. Just keep singing them in my ear, because as far as I can see, everything that's being said is being delivered, and most importantly, it's stuff that actually, that I can actually enjoy, stuff I can actually play. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, if you haven't figured it out, I'm not really much of a shooter guy. So, having like more adventure, more role play, that's my bag.
No, that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
job.
Go Poe, Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, I'll post
And
it.
then there's the talk that there's a potential, there's potentially the strong possibility that Obsidian and Bethesda might kind of like put their heads together for a sequel to New Vegas.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know if that's going to happen. And reason being, Obsidian's got a ton on their plate. They're working on a Valve. They still supporting Grounded, and they got the Outer Worlds 2 in development. At some point, you're going to run yourself too thin if you're working on 10 fucking games at the same time. That might happen in 2025 or something, but as of now, I don't see it. I think that's just straight up wishful thinking rumor.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's one of those we have to wait and see because remember with all the cash they're being funneled, they can always basically like hire in more people and do like for example like what Playgrounds is doing where they bought in enough people to split the studio in half to where there's those still working on Horizon and those who are working on Fable. So you
saw what
What's that?
Mojang did. You saw in the developers direct what Mojang did. Mojang basically partnered up with
yeah. Black what's it called? Blackbird or something like that?
Yeah.
Hell, the guys that making Perfect Dark are teaming up with Crystal Dynamics. The Fable team's partnered up with Idols Montreal. Microsoft, can you go ahead and just talk to Embracer Group and get those two studios, please?
Hey, dude, I've been saying that, and this is another hill. This is another hill that I'm marking. Where my tombstone is going. I'm gonna die on. I wouldn't be surprised if Embracer probably grabbed those guys to hold them for Microsoft.
Yeah,
that'll be extremely clever, and I like that theory. I like that
theory
a lot.
Because, dude, at this rate, Square was not going to hold on to him for Microsoft.
No.
Square was trying to. Square is like a lizard that has a rotted tail. They're trying to shave off as much of that tail as they can to make themselves as light as possible for Sony to come swoop in.
Yeah,
y'all might not want to believe it.
Dumbasses.
Y'all might not believe it, but yeah, Sony's going to swoop them.
Yeah, real quick. Hey, realists still want Embracer because that's what I heard too. If this is what you mean, I heard that Microsoft could buy Embracer.
Nah, I don't think they'll grab Embracer in whole. I think they'll just grab like those two studios.
Can you imagine the monopoly talk if that happened?
Well, isn't Embracer? Man. Embracer's not a publicly traded company,
dude. Embracer. I mean, good God, dude. Embracer. When you look at them, they practically are almost a monopoly.
They're a financial conglomerate, is what they are.
Yeah. They have the most studios out of everybody.
But aren't they private? Are they a public company?
Mm-hmm.
They are.
No, I think they're private.
Oh no! I was saying to the conglomerate, not the.
Yeah. They're a huge financial conglomerate. They are no joke. I was doing a little bit of research into them, and then I did a brief video talking about it. But like the guy who started the company, man,
they are a public company.
They are a public company. Oh,
yeah, okay. Yeah, they are public.
Okay. Because that would be. No, they didn't. They sold the IP. Oh, okay.
But that's all I have as far as the future goes and everything. So right now it's just taking it bit by bit. Whatever comes down the pipeline, I'll play it and just enjoy my gaming.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. No, great points, man. Great points. And the only reason I want to talk about this is just because of what Sega Man was alluding to. I'm just tired of all the talk. Mm-hmm. It's 2023. Unlimited did a great video talking about this, where it's I'm going to try and do my best this year to be the same way. It's basically because we need to be. It's just positive moving forward when it comes to gaming, especially Xbox gaming, because this is not stuff that we read about or that somebody tells us. This is stuff we're experiencing every day.
Yeah.
Guys who are in this ecosystem, man, if you have Game Pass, right? If you see what Microsoft's been doing, you understand what Phil's been talking about all these years, finally coming into play, of which has been the last 2 years, to be perfectly honest with you. But 2023 is probably going to be the magnum opus, just for the amount of content that they're going to have. It's basically every hate-filled tweet or post, or a lot of these people that hate on Microsoft just for being Microsoft is about to experience, because they've been telling Microsoft to kind of put up or shut up. And Microsoft is basically going to do that this year. It's a foregone conclusion. And when you watch that developers conference that we just had, it basically is just showing that in full force. That's just like, to me, that was like the order to what's going to happen for the rest of the year. So like when we were talking about earlier, man, when as the months go on, who knows what's going to happen next month? I understand we can look at April and we can look at May and June, but I'm still curious about what's going to happen in March, because there hasn't been something. Microsoft has done something, at least, whether it's some might consider it little or huge. Like for me, the shadow drop, I thought it was really a really big deal, just for the simple fact that Microsoft has been getting a lot of hate for their content, especially when it comes to the Japanese side of things, and then to drop the game that they did on the day of the show, that was a huge thing, man. There's a lot of people's videos that I watched that they knew that there was a game coming out. A lot of them knew it was from Tangleworks, but they had no idea that it was going to be shadow dropped. And you can tell by their reaction, man. This isn't something that you pay for, or somebody trying to fake it for views, man. They were really blown away by that. And if Microsoft is just doing that in February, it makes me think what they're going to do in March and for the rest of the year. That's how good of a year. Like Sigma said, Sigma, man, I'm 100% with you, dude. I've been enjoying everything Microsoft's been doing since 2015.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, right? And I'm not being a fanboy about it. I'm talking about just a gamer. And then also,
Oh, dude, fanboy or not, it don't matter. It's like a sports team, man. If you rep for that team and you enjoy it, then damn it, enjoy it. The hell with everybody else.
Well, that's a great analogy, man, because when it comes to sports, like nobody's harder than my team. I'm a fan of like the Lakers for basketball. Then every other sport, it's all Pittsburgh teams, man. I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I've been my entire life ever since I was little. Especially in the 70s and stuff like that. Going into the 80s were rough, but then we picked it up in the 90s. Then we got Big Ben, won a couple more Super Bowls. I've seen that in my lifetime as a Steelers fan, right? So when it comes to the Steelers, I'm harder on them. Just like my kids, dude. I don't really have a problem with my kids because nobody's harder on my kids than I am. That's just the way I am, right? So for me, this is why when people talk about us as being Xbox, that's supposed to be some type of insult and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you can call me whatever you want to. I know why I'm in this ecosystem, right? I know why I buy the console I buy and the games that I buy. I know what to expect. I know what they're giving me. If they don't give me what I want, then I'll complain. If they keep on not giving me what I want, then I'll bounce. It's really that simple.
Yeah, right? Dude, that's the way I approached it. I mean, as some of y'all probably already remember me saying, I originally wasn't an Xbox guy. Hell, I missed out on the OG. Because I was stuck on the Japanese box mentality. But then when both of them stopped giving me what I liked, what I want and stuff, and I saw that Xbox had what I wanted, that's when I jumped over. And once I jumped over and I started realizing that, man, dude, I've been hating over here all this time. Damn, this is pretty nice. This is pretty cozy. I might just go ahead and set up shop right here. And that's it. And since then, I have not moved. I have not budged an inch. I had no reason whatsoever to jump platform ever again.
Yeah, and that's for me. It's like being a Sega guy. The last console I gave my heart to, and the company I gave the heart to was Sega. And I would go to war with PlayStation guys. People don't understand that this console war stuff, the way that it is now, as toxic as it is, it didn't start with Xbox. It started back in the day with Sega, right? Mm-hmm. And you had a lot of the stuff, a lot of the problems you see now with gaming there was cracks being revealed back in the day. And then when Sega went away, I really had no affinity for anybody. I just became a multi-platform gamer like most people. Arcades were dying at the time, so I basically owned every console. And it wasn't until Xbox kind of showed me that they were going to be the new Sega as far as pushing the envelope. Looking at the developers, looking at the games, looking at the industry as a whole, like Sega did back in the day. That's when I started coming over to Xbox. But the reason why people tell me stuff and I don't get offended by it is because they like to call us, like I said, Xbox and stuff like that. I know I'm not. Because the last company I showed for was Sega. And I still show for them in a lot of respects. They're not the same company they used to be, but that's just the way I'm built. Right? So when people come at me with it, this is why I don't flip-flop at all when it comes to Xbox, PlayStation, like many of our Xbox brethren have done over the years, right, Sega Man? All these, all these guys. Then you got people like Sega Man, me, Hebot, man, E-Rock and stuff like that. We still we still in this Xbox side because we know who we are, we know what we like, we know how we game, and it's really that simple, right? And so for me, when I'm looking at the state of gaming now, I'm kind of positive about it as far as the Xbox and the content, and then Microsoft is trying to push the envelope and take gaming to that next level. But I'm also kind of taken back by the fact that a lot of the even though gaming is $1 billion industry and that there's a lot of content and stuff out there, how a little bit more niche gaming is becoming, right? Especially in the current economic times that we occupy, right? This is why Game Pass is such a big hit. But then you have a lot of people that are gaming just to game, as opposed to gaming to influence, as opposed to gaming just for clicks. There's people out there, definitely. You see them all the time, right? But it doesn't hold that same type of, at least in my opinion. You guys can disagree with me if you want. At least in my opinion, I actually like the fact that, just like I told you earlier, man, it kind of blew my mind, man, when my daughter was listening to the Doors, right? And then my son was listening to Stevie Wonder earlier. It kind of took me back because I'm like, yeah, that's the stuff I grew up with. Kind of like to me when music was music. I know I'm getting into that argument, but you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I see a kind of a renaissance with gaming where people are kind of going back because of Game Pass and playing some of these two, even though they're updated, right? A lot of these 2D classics, a lot of these action adventure games, a game like Hi-Fi Rush, which is it's an amalgamation of all the games that we grew up liking and done so well. I think that's the direction Microsoft pushing it forward, and as well as the state of gaming for gamers. I like to see people do that. I like to see them become more gamers as opposed to influencers. Does that make any sense? Do you guys like?
No, I think so.
That's the only thing I see with it. Was Microsoft dominates the news, whether good or bad, right? They dominate the news cycle 24/7, and I'm not just talking about gaming, right? If because of everything that's going on with the Activision purchase and stuff like that, you'll see them actually in regular headlines on news, especially money markets and stuff like that. If you guys keep up with that stuff, and they're the only ones pushing stuff forward. And this is again why look, no hatred for Sony and stuff like that, but either they change or they just kind of played out at this point. They really have nothing to offer, besides everybody losing their mind about a TV show that they have now, which I find kind of funny because they're a gaming company, or supposedly Sony has a gaming division that should be focusing. They should be focusing on that instead of trying to dodge subpoenas and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, guys. I'm pretty positive 2023, at least that's for us as the Xbox side and on the video gaming side and stuff like that. But what I like to see is kind of people get back to the to what gaming is, which is more about actual gaming and enjoying games. When I see a lot of these influencers talk about video gaming, and when they look at a game and they look at a game and that game can even spark some kind of interest in them. I'm not saying that you have to like the game, but you're not at least curious. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, the way we were. Regardless if I like Sega, if I saw something on Nintendo that looked pretty cool, I was like, oh, that looks cool. Even though I would rather be playing.
The tribalism that I see today was just not a thing until really 2013, in my opinion. Even during the 7 generation, yeah, PlayStation fanboys were weird, but it wasn't. I didn't see as extreme. I didn't see nearly as extreme as it was since 2013. This last decade, it's just been people for some reason planted their foot in the ground on their console they like. It just won't budge. Period. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point where if you don't like Sony, there's nothing they could do to convince you. If you don't like Nintendo, there's nothing they could do to convince you. And especially with Xbox, there's really nothing you could do because they literally gave everything everybody asked for, right? Before that, listen, I owned an Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii. Wasted my money on the Wii and PS3, especially the Wii, that garbage fucking console. But back then it was like there's this sense of okay, each platform in theory has something to offer. Now I realized that Nintendo has nothing to offer me, so that's why I never bought a Nintendo console after that. And PlayStation 3 just I ended up spending so much time on 360 that the PlayStation 3 just ended up collecting dust because I didn't think their exclusives were that good, especially the PS3 exclusives. Shit like Nier, or here, whatever the fuck it was called. I think it was called Near.
Most of the so-called
That
exclusives when they
Dragon,
start.
that
when
Dragon game was garbage.
Dragon Guard.
Yeah, all them exclusives they had, especially the early ones, man. Especially the first 5-6 years of the PS3 life cycle, just terrible games, just absolutely terrible. The controller was god awful, the worst controller in human existence. You know, that PS3, that light as a feather 6-axis controller, that Sony literally lied about. You know, they lied about, oh, we can't put Rumble, all this other dumb shit. And then like a month later, when nobody bought that stupid controller, they magically were able to make a DualShock 3, which wasn't much better, by the way.
Yeah.
But and then the Xbox 360 just ended up easily being the best console. Then by the time I got my life together, got back in the gaming in the Xbox One, I thought the Xbox One was just far superior than the PS4. The PS4 just, I just didn't understand back in 2013, 2014, why the PlayStation 4 was praised when it had almost no innovation. When guys were literally praising the console because they could quote unquote play used games. The Xbox One could do that too, but at the same time, if you had the Connect, you just pull the code and boom, automatically recognize your game or content. Stuff like that. I thought, stuff like Xbox on and boom, your Xbox turned on. I thought that was cool. The PlayStation 4 was just PlayStation 3.5, basically, and then by time they did start putting out their quote unquote exclusives, it ended up just I say this, the worst thing, I'll die on this hill. The worst thing that happened to the PlayStation was the success of The Last of Us, because since that game came out, this last decade has pretty much been, how can we make The Last of Us again? Well, first of all, they sold the game 3 fucking times. You know what I'm saying? Each console. Then they gave you The Last of Us 2 without a multiplayer, by the way, that's still missing. And then now all they make are third-person action adventure games. Sony takes no risk, they take no chances. They go their games are so safe that you can't even get lost in a game without them telling you what to do. That's how safe their games are. And people talking about, oh, this game is childish, this and that. At least a game, if you get lost, you kind of got to figure yourself out, use your brain a little. With Sony games, they're so childish, and I think it is childish to be so damn easy that your game just tells you what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Which way do I go now, boy?
Yeah, and if you like the Brazier, we could get past this puzzle. And people, if you think God of War is bad, Horizon is. Listen, when I say Alloy doesn't shut up, you can't take 2 steps without her saying things like, man, I need to go right. Wow, if I go up the hill, maybe if I throw this rock, it'll distract them. And it's like, oh my God, can you let me play the fucking game, you bitch? And yet Xbox has this vast different philosophy of, well, we're going to give you a Psychonauts, we're going to give you a Flight Simulator, we're going to give you the Gunk, we're going to give you Halo, we're going to give you Forza, we're going to give you Redfall, we're going to give you Starfield, and at this point, even before all that, we're going to give you Sunset Overdrive, we're going to give you Quantum Break, we're going to give you Loco Cycle, we're going to give you Dead Rising 3, and it's like, holy shit, this is a nice variety of games. So it never just made sense to me as a gamer and as somebody who values my dollar as a consumer more than loyalty to any platform, that Xbox somehow is the one without games, or it's the bad guys. And when all I saw is in the last 3 generations, actually probably even their whole lifespan of an Xbox console, they've been fantastic with creative games and all this other stuff. From the days of Jet Set Radio and Fable to now of the Hi-Fi Rush and Redfalls, you could look at the library of Xbox games and just see nothing but different styles of games, and I love that.
Yeah, true. No, that's 100%, dude. I 100% agree. And I think that's what sets them apart. When you're talking about PS3, the older generation of consoles, they were kind of built for multi-console gaming, because every single console basically had their games that you played specific consoles for. But in this generation, that's not the case, and I think that's why you see Sony panicking a lot, because they see that that old model is just not going to work in the future, especially if Microsoft has its way. Right, it just reminds me of Blockbuster and Netflix, dude. That's what it looks like to me. Right. With of course Sony being Blockbuster.
Yeah. I'm with you there. And back in the PS2 era, Sony had a lot of exclusives, but it was exclusive because their dominance was so high. Because they had something like 90% of the console market. It was something insane like that. It was the closest to a monopoly we've had in the video game market. Was the
Yes.
PS2 era. You know, people talking about if you want to know what the definition of monopoly is, it's 90% or more of a certain market, and that's the dominance PlayStation had with the PlayStation 2, right? So they would have exclusive games not because they paid for it or because they were Sony first party studios. It was because at the time studios didn't think it was worth releasing it on the Xbox or GameCube, you know, and the ones that would, the Xbox versions will almost unanimously be played running better. There are games like Splinter Cell, the Splinter Cell version on the Xbox versus the PlayStation. It might as well have been different console generations. That's how powerful the original Xbox was compared to it. You know what I'm saying? So even in the PlayStation 2 era, it was my least played of the three consoles. Um, and if it wasn't for just because there are some games that were only on PlayStation, if there was an Xbox version, I would have just gotten that like I was doing at the time and like I do now, because I just thought the Xbox was just a far better console. Hell, I like the GameCube more than I did the PS2, which is probably blasphemous. And I think that was their last really great console from Nintendo, in my opinion.
It was, and they did a shit job supporting it, man.
Yeah, but and then when they would support it, it'll be fantastic games. Like Resident Evil 4 was originally exclusive. They had that what was that? What the hell is that game called? It was a good one too. It was a horror game they had. They would have some nice mature
Eternal
stuff.
Darkness.
Eternal Darkness, that's it. Eternal Darkness.
Yeah.
And they would have some nice mature games along
Still
with their
have that
Mario's. Hell, matter of fact, Zelda Twilight Princess was a nice little dark game on the GameCube, darker version of Zelda
They-
that I thought worked back then. You know,
You just brought up the very thing that made me drop Nintendo.
oh, you didn't like Twilight Princess?
I didn't like what they did. Now, Twilight Princess was originally a GameCube game,
Mm-hmm.
and what they did was they held that game hostage. They had the GameCube version done already,
Yeah.
but they held it hostage for half a year just to make sure that they could sell Wii.
Oh yeah,
more Wiis.
they did the same thing with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was playable on Wii U, but it was also released day one on the Switch. Yeah, but it was released on the GameCube as well, and that's kind of how I associate the game with it. I completely forgot it was on the Wii as well. Thank you for reminding me. But my point is though, it felt like Nintendo during the sixth generation did feel like that was the only time I felt like they understood that their audience was growing up, and that the 10-year-olds are now teenagers. The 10-year-olds from the N64 days are now 16-year-olds, and they gotta make games to appease them. And then with the Wii, they just threw that shit under the table, and I've been done with them since.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a product of their time. But it's interesting to me, man. It's just like when, they have a generational thing kind of built in. So, they occupy a certain space.
Mhm.
Sony doesn't have that. Sony does not have that at all. That's one thing that Nintendo has over Sony. So
I'll say one thing about it's like, as much as I may not care for or like Nintendo and their practices and stuff like that, is I'll say this about their user base. They'll buy them damn games.
yeah,
Everybody can say whatever they want about this $70 Zelda coming out. Watch that Joker break records.
Yeah, that $70 narrative gonna be dead with that game.
that you know why they can do that, right? Is they've conditioned their fan base to be that way.
Yeah.
Because
all platforms are clearly conditioned a certain way. Xbox gamers, we love our Game Pass. They used to call us the shooter box, but that hasn't been true in a decade. But the PlayStation fans are the worst because they've been trained to hate multiplayer games, multi-plats. They've been trained to hate everything but single-player exclusive. And so as a result, they end up missing out on a lot because they hate so many fucking games.
Well,
they hate anything that's not a third person over the shoulder.
Yeah,
the sales prove that.
Yeah, and especially, and then if there's a multi-plat that's a third person game, they hate it because they see it as competition against their pressing exclusives. Halo fans don't be like, man, I don't play Call of Duty, as if because Call of Duty some competition. Hell, I know a lot of Halo fans that love Destiny. I personally couldn't get into Destiny, but I know a lot of Halo fans that they were jumping on Destiny for a while when that game was out.
Yeah, I didn't like Destiny either, dude. I tried playing that game, man. You have to really like, you have to have a group of people and you have to move. You have to level up with them or you get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only problem I had with that game. Because I didn't have the time to play like other people in my group did.
Hey, we got any mods in the chat? Tell Realist to stop being toxic. All right, man, we're gonna put you in timeout.
No, but that's what to say what Vodka's saying. Nintendo fans will pay $112. Yeah, like I said, man, it's the same. It's basically like people who buy Gucci.
Yo, this is sorry to cut you off, Sega Forever,
No,
but Nintendo fans paid for 2 Pokemon games at the same time. I don't understand. I didn't understand the model in 1998 when I liked Pokemon, and I really don't understand. At least in 1998, the gimmick was okay. You had the link cable, you could trade with your friends, so selling 2 copies of the same game made sense. In 2023, it's just a scam. It's a scam to sell the same game. 2 different quote unquote 2 different versions with literally minimal differences at the same price, and these Nintendo fans literally just buy both of them just to get.
I'll tell you how bad it was when Sword and Shield was in development, and everybody saw the shit bag, how it looked, how shitty it looked, and everything, and all you kept hearing is we're going to boycott it. If they don't improve these animations and these sounds, we're not going to buy it. What did they turn around and did? That Joker broke.
Listen, man, it's the same way the Hogwarts Legacy boycott fell. It's a vocal minority who hate it, but they keep. I don't understand these people who keep boycotting games and failing miserably because I don't think they realize they're not important. They don't got the reach they think they do. The reality is that most gamers don't be on Twitter all fucking day looking at their stupid rants. Even people like J-Dub and all these other losers on YouTube. They got at most 4,000 subscribers, and their videos might get 1,000 views. There are millions and millions of gamers who will never see your fucking content. And so when you think boycotting game, you're wasting your time. If all you got to do is say, "Hey, this game ain't for me," and don't buy it, and keep moving, then you'll save yourself from the embarrassment of, "Hey, I'm gonna boycott this game." Oh, this game just broke records.
Well, it also has a boomerang effect too. That's the only problem with boycotting. You draw unnecessary attention, and a lot of times that can backfire on you. Yeah, especially when you have a fan base that Harry Potter has.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I agree with you. But just to talk about I was in that position, man, because I bought those 2 games for my daughter.
Yeah, man, and it, like again in 1998, I kind of got it because the link cable gimmick was cool at the time. Because I was there, I was the prime target audience in 1998 because I was like 8 or 9 fucking years old at the time, right? So I got it then, and now in 2023, are little kids linking up their Switches together? No, come on, that shit's not happening. So just sell 1 copy of the game.
Well, it's interesting to me because my daughter was complaining about it, and I asked her if she wanted to get it, and she said no. Really... And then later on, she was like, "Okay, Dad, I'll get them." And I bought her both. Right, and it's interesting because all her friends were kind of like that, but they all did the same thing. So it's kind of that's what I'm talking about when they have a certain thing. Now, I think the double-edged sword effect of that is that's why we see Nintendo kind of not really progressing with their hardware and stuff like that because they might have that fan base, but it's not enough to push you forward like what Xbox fan base potentially could be with Game Pass.
No, because their fan base doesn't push them. That's the thing. Their fan base doesn't demand more. The only thing their fan base demands of them is to at least celebrate more of their IPs. Like
their fan base. I'll just say this:
where's the new F-Zero?
Well, where's
the new Kid Icarus?
But their fan base is like that, and Nintendo they're made for each other. I'll just be honest with you, like they won't push them, and Nintendo won't push forward, and they seem to be fine with that. That's the thing I see with Nintendo.
Like the realist said a few minutes ago in the chat, he said, "I'm not paying $70 games for 720p 30."
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a snob when it comes to resolution.
That's why I say he's being toxic.
Yeah, I'm not a snob when it comes to resolution, but I agree. It's 2023, man. I got a 4K TV what the fuck am I going to play in 720p 30 for now? Just to catch Bulbasaur again? Come on now.
And see,
And
I
look,
mean, so what's so sad about that is that the carts that they're using are actually XSD cards. Those things go up to like 64 or even some cases 128 gigabytes.
Mhm.
And you mean to tell me you can't fit all those doggone Pokemon on, that? I mean, of course, I know that means the game will probably go up in price, because that type of storage is going to get more expensive. But it's like, come on, man.
Hey, man, that whole game price thing is BS, man. First of all, I'm not necessarily upset that game prices rose because that's in the sense that as long as it's not so unaffordable that people can't afford it. But my thing is when it comes to the game prices increase, yeah, it was bound to happen, but stop making excuses for when your game is bullshit, basically. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind because listen, I don't mind buying collector's editions and all this other shit that costs way more than just the standard $60-$70. I do that all the time. So it'll be hypocritical of me to be like, oh, game prices, this and that. When I just paid what $80 for the deluxe edition of Hogwarts Legacy to play 3 days, 4 days early, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, I roll my eyes when everybody tries to make these weird excuses. When like guys, everything's been more expensive. Of course, gaming was going to be slightly more expensive too.
no, that's what I was about to say. It's a product of what's happening in the economy, is why it went up. It wasn't like a industry thing.
Yeah, and then not only sorry to cut you off, but
Oh, okay.
context matters, right?
Yeah.
Back in the sixth generation, new games were $50.
Yes.
When it first released. Then in the 360 days, it was $60. Then in the Xbox One days, it was $60. So we had a 15-year stretch of video
Mhm.
games not, being $60. However, the cost to make them 4K, 4K resolution, all this other stuff made game development even more expensive in that 15 years. And they were still being sold at the same price. So it was either raise game prices or watch more devs go under, like we saw especially towards the tail end of the 360 days when THQ as a publisher went under and Midway went under and had to sell their stuff to WB and all this stuff. And if y'all guys want them days back, then go ahead and be stubborn about game prices raising. But what about Hi-Fi Rush? Hi-Fi Rush is what we call an anomaly. It's clear. It's so obvious. Do we really need to sit here and tell you that Hi-Fi Rush and Starfield have vastly different styles and have vastly different resources to make those styles work?
Well, it's just like in the economy right now, right? If you go to certain stores, everything's way more expensive. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of the people. So in other words, where I live, dude, the cost of living is already high, and then the economy now has driven it higher. So
Right.
you have people that would go to certain stores that are basically going to local producers now, or going to farmers markets,
Mm-hmm.
getting stuff more organic, right? Because there was a time where the stores were cheaper, but the
Right.
stores are way more expensive. That going the other route is the cheaper route. And so that's what I see within gaming, right? You're gonna have your $70 games, but you're gonna have a bunch of games that are cheaper than that
Yeah, I mean, but
on
but
the
it,
indie.
it all here. My thing is that it's always been like that. When has
Yeah.
there been a time in gaming where, at least, I'll say this, at least since the HD era, because there's this thing called Xbox Live Arcade, and those games were cheaper than your standard big AAA games at the time, right? Now you got those X. If you go on the store and buy a game from the Xbox ID program, what $70 game is on there? Very few, if any, right? Hell, look at a game like Solstice. It was this hack and slash released last year.
Mhm.
It was a $50 game. And
Mhm.
that I think that's considered the double A market price is the $40-$50 level, right? So there's always been like price differentials for these type of games. I think now, thanks to the likes of Game Pass, Sega Forever, I
Mhm.
think it's even going to be more extreme, right? Because you're either the have or have nots in gaming. You either could make these big 4K, big budget Hogwarts Legacy games, or you got to make something more reasonable. And the way that gamers are snobs these days, sometimes if your game don't look pretty, unfortunately, it might suffer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's why Game Pass is so important, because Game Pass, you're kind of subsidizing, right, the market. because we're paying a subscription, a
Yeah.
monthly subscription. All it is it's being spread out. This is why I push the 50 million and the road to 50 million and the road to 100 million, because the more people that you get into the service, right, the better it is going to be for everybody. And that's what basically Microsoft is doing. But the thing that gets me that Microsoft did, at least they were at least forward thinking, was the variety of games where you can have Hi-Fi Rush being at the level that it is, where you can play it on the service, but then when you look at $30 for the quality that you're getting, right, it doesn't break your bank to say, yeah, it's worth the money.
Yeah.
And I think that's the offsetting thing with the $70 thing, right? It's basically like when I took my kids to go eat Taco Bell,
Mhm.
right? The service is slow, the food was wrong, but the price is still high, and it's still the same Taco Bell, right? It is that's the thing that micro. I don't care if PlayStation, because PlayStation won't do it, and this is why they'll probably go out of business. But at least Microsoft is acknowledging that and trying to find avenues for gamers, not just Xbox gamers, all gamers, right? To be able to what do you call that? Have a port of entry
Right.
for everybody, right? To find something, and that's why I hate the fact that they don't get a lot of credit for the variety of gaming that they have. It could be a game that's super short that everybody likes to, that there's certain people that like to play this kind of games,
Mhm.
or you could have a game in there that will take you months to finish within Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you 100 unlimited about that. And it's unfortunate that Microsoft seems to be the only company that understands this, being that they have they're micro, it's Xbox, but they belong to Microsoft, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Microsoft deals with this on a daily basis. So
Isn't that usually how it is? Is that one guy, the one guy who knows becomes public enemy number one?
look, I'm not one to throw praise to Sony or anything like that, but they used to know that kind of stuff. They used to diversify their portfolio across a lot of different mediums, and I don't know what the hell happened to them.
Oh, or what is that? Sony, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Last of Us. The Last of Us was such a big hit, and they got praised so much they decided to make the same game for the last decade.
Actually, no. Before that,
so they
it
got
started.
tradition.
It started with Uncharted 2. That's what that's
Uncharted 2
that
was
was
successful.
to me that was the step off into this whole
Yeah.
cinematic bullshit they want to keep claiming.
Yeah, you got a point. I think you got a point, but I do think The Last of Us, that first one in 2013, was praised so heavily that
No, I agree with you on that one.
yeah,
That solidified it.
yeah, that game was treated as like the greatest game to ever exist. Now, personally, I still to this day think the game is bullshit. I don't see what's so impressive about it.
I
You
don't
know?
either, man. All right, it's something wrong with me because everybody keeps praising about it's such a technical marvel, but yet
Uncharted.
The Last of Us.
No,
Oh,
The Last of Us.
okay.
Yeah, I look at them. I look at The Last of Us, and then I look at Gears, and you're gonna sit there and tell me that The Last of Us is a more technological marvel than Gears.
No way.
Get the
And
fuck out of here.
here's the worst part. What is that, Sega Man?
Yeah, preach, Sega Man. Again,
No way, bro. There's no way, brother, at all that's more technical advanced than Gears of War, man. Give me a break, man. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, man.
No,
They don't know what the hell they're seeing.
dude, Gears of War was such a when I played it, when they did the enhancement on it, and I played it, it was so bad because I don't like gory stuff. I'll just be honest. That my son had to come and finish that one. There's a section of it where you walk in and there's all that stuff, all that pus or whatever. I guess I don't know what they were, man, but basically where these things burst out of, the monsters. That thing was so disgusting to me, man. I had my son actually play that for me. I told him, get daddy past this part. I was like, okay, Dad, and he was young too. He says, Dad, are you scared? I said, I ain't scared of nothing. But it's just I don't like gore stuff, man. And then the fidelity on that was so high, right, that I was like, dude, this is disgusting. That's why I won't play Scorn. The same reason.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah, you don't have a plate of spaghetti if you're about to play Scorn. Yeah. Everybody remembers the raw steak crawling across the counter on Portuguese.
Yeah.
No, I'm just worried like that, dude. If it's action, I'm fine. Like I'll play zombies games all the day long, but dude, when it's
Gears
something-
was one of the first games to actually get SNX enhanced when the Series X came out.
Yep.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think,
They were on the money on that.
yeah, man. All them Gear games are fantastic. Gears 5, man, that game was ahead of the curve. And I think when it got to Series X enhancement Sega, man, it really showed just how ahead of the curve that game
Oh
was.
man, did it unlimited? Man, it did, man.
Yeah, and it wasn't even nominated for Game of the Year. I know. I don't care about that, but people still upset over that 4 years later.
Yeah, they are. They are. They
I
are.
don't care about that, but he's like, brought it up.
Now,
They
you see
No,
there,
hey man, I'm just saying. Listen, if I bring up, I'll get if I'll even get in my comment section if I talk about Gears. It's bullshit that game didn't get nominated in 2019. I'm like, damn, they really upset over that.
Yeah, they still upset about
They
that.
holding on to it, man.
now what you had up a few minutes ago, a few seconds ago with Gogo Pole, what he said. Now
Hive Busters.
now he just proved a point right there.
Mhm.
Now you look at our camp, and then do you think anybody from their camp would say what he said about anything from Xbox?
No, oh hell no.
So the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's like, you know what? Why even continue bothering going back and forth with these kids? Because that's what it is. It's talking to kids.
That's why I like Gogo, man. Gogo will come out with some.
Yeah,
I like his perspective on things.
yeah.
It is exactly like talking to kids, because only Xboxers I've seen been able to, like, if they have more than one system, even though Xbox is their main choice,
Yeah.
they'll play these other things, but
Yeah.
they won't sit there dunking on it. They'll be like, okay, well, it's good, but I still love my Xbox, and they move on.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
that's how I felt about Spider-Man.
Yeah, but the other camp, nah, man, they'll sit there like, yeah, I played that bullshit Hi-Fi Rush, that old cartoon looking double A shit. I ain't enjoyed it.
That is so
But
fun.
but you didn't enjoy it, but you said you beat it.
Yeah.
If you didn't enjoy it, then why did you beat it?
Yeah. Hey, I've seen this one a few times, Fireboss, Sega Man, and Sega Forever. I beat the game. Did you Xbox beat it? And it's like, okay, buddy. So let me get this straight. You hate the game, but you paid the money to play on Game Pass. That's supporting the game. You finish the game. That's supporting the game. You post the game everywhere. That's free marketing, basically. So at what point, we're in this discussion. Is X, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Sega Forever said something poignant earlier about how when people boycott the game, it gives people extra attention. That's what Sony fans do when they hate on Xbox games. How are you going to play Hi-Fi Rush, say it looks terrible, and then point it to the whole world about this amazing looking game? And now people who see it was like, ooh, that game looked kind of cool. And guess what happened? They signed up to Game Pass or bought it for $30.
Yeah.
What's even funnier is they be hashtagging Xbox, and like I keep saying, it's like, wow, you really don't realize you feeding the hell out of that algorithm.
Oh,
It is
hard.
that algo is getting chunky.
Listen, I learned this about YouTube years ago.
It's about to get
Fireboss.
diabetes thanks to you.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, diabetes. Hey, look, man. I learned this about YouTube, and like the worst thing you could do on YouTube is not interact. If you click dislike,
Yes.
YouTube likes that because you're interacting with it. And so
Yeah.
even if the video is heavily disliked, it'll still be promoted more than a video with 0 likes, because the YouTube algorithm doesn't care it's negative. They care that you feel some type of way. If you put a comment in a video saying this game sucks, guess what? YouTube sees that comment like, oh, he's engaging with it. Let's push it out more, because you could get success off of hate. We've seen it time after time, right? So as long as people are somehow invested, good or bad, these companies know how to turn that into a win. So if you hate a game, the worst thing you could do is constantly talk about it, play it, put up anything, engage with it in any form of way. If you hate something, ignore it. But they're never going to do that, because I don't know why.
No, because that's it's their whole world now, dude. Xbox occupies their mind 24/7, and I think it's sad. But like you said, that's one of the benefits of it. I mean, even though it's unfortunate that they would do something like that, but like you said, that's the reality of it. So
Yeah. Hey, but I gotta get going now though. Sega.
no, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Right.
All right. All right.
Hey, Sega man, shout yourself out, dude.
Hey man, that's thank you again, brother Sega Forever, for another Wrecking Crew podcast, man. It was good.
our brother Fireboss on Unlimited Productions, man. Always on the Unlimited Truth, spitting that fire, man, and enjoying the game. The Hogwarts game, man, the Harry Potter game, man. A lot of people are, and all the other, naysayers out there, man. They need to keep their mouth shut, man. They like to try to destroy games, before they even come out. You know what I mean? And these guys are living proof right here. Unlimited, he always puts up gameplay. He bought, our brother E-Rock. They always put up their gameplay. These are true gamers, man. So you can't say they don't game. You know what I mean? Because they're always putting up gameplay, talking about the game, Hi-Fi Rush, everything, man. But it was a great podcast to do with my brothers again, Fire Boss and Unlimited. And, of course, my brother Sega Forever, man. And you can always find me on my YouTube channel, guys, at Sega Man 101 on the Alpha on Saturdays or Sundays. I think I'm going to do it now, Unlimited. I'm going to do it every other week. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to do it when we don't have one, on our other one, the Exile. So I'm going to try to do it every other week. Unless there's some really good news, out there, Unlimited, I'm not going to do them every week. I think, Tuck, he's so, like, radioactive about doing these, like, every weekend. I don't want to do them every weekend. Because if there ain't nothing to talk about, he just gets on there and says, well, man, let me tell you about it, man. Let me tell you, man, I just hate these fucking ponies, man. I can't stand them. You know what I mean? Sega, man, I don't know.
Dude, we need guys like Tuck, man. He's a warrior, man.
My friend told me at work, man, you got the dang, man, and I was like, oh, man, shut the fuck up, man. You don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, it's cool. That's my brother, but I don't want to do that all the time because we already know we hate the ponies and all this other shit. We've been through all that shit since 2013, man. So every other week, if there's something to talk about, guys, we're going to be doing the Alpha, man. We're not going to do it every week unless there's something good that comes out. And if Unlimited says, hey, Sega, man, you hear this or whatever, or if I see it on Google, whatever, then I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna do it every week anymore, man, because I don't want to keep doing the same shit over and over again. How we hate the ponies and all this other shit. So, but that's what we're gonna start doing, guys. You know what I mean? There'll still be a podcast, but don't want to just keep doing them, and there's nothing really to talk about. My brothers want to come on there, and chop up game. If there's nothing to talk about, we're not gonna do the podcast, man.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Sega, man, because he's been doing these excellent collection videos. The Sega Master System, Atari Lynx. When you gonna do that Odyssey 2?
Well, I was thinking of doing either that or the Atari 7800.
That'd be a good one.
Bro. Yeah, I would love to see that one.
Yeah, your videos have been fantastic too. The Sega CD collection, the PlayStation, and it's funny he does the PlayStation 1. And it's like Sega man has a deeper PlayStation knowledge than these PlayStation dudes, and I love it, man. I respect it. I loved every single one of these videos so far.
Hey, Unlimited, back in the day with the PlayStation 1, even back in the day before we close out, guys, I told you I had an Italian brother, a friend. His name was Tony. He loved the PlayStation 1. He would always knock on my apartment door and come over and hang out with me, man. And he always would make fun of my Sega Saturn all the time. Oh, come on, man. You need to get the PlayStation 1. It's better, Gran Turismo and what's that one game they put on there? Driver and
did you put him on the spot and ask him how did that happen? How did it become so much better? By choking Sega out by outspending them?
Right, man, right. And he's like, come on, man. I said, nah, I'm gonna stick with the Sega Saturn, man, until something else comes out, man. I'm just going, and I stayed with Sega Saturn. I stayed when everybody was in the PlayStation 1. I stayed with this Sega Saturn, even though they were going downhill, Brother Unlimited. And they were going down with a fight. I stuck with them. I never turned. I never turned. I got a PlayStation 1 way later in the 2000s at a flea market, man. That's when I got one, and I got certain games for it. And that's my story on it. I stuck with Sega no matter what happened, man. Until the Dreamcast came out, brothers, I stuck with Sega Saturn until its end of its death, and I still own one today. So, But that's just the way it was. But they have great games. I'm not putting down what Sony did, some of the stuff that they did have some great games back in the day. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
the
it took
Sony,
Symphony of the Night for me to get a PlayStation.
yeah, man. I mean, the Sony of today is just. I mean, I really feel sorry for some of these. I mean, the real ones that like. So I feel sorry for them, bro. I really do, man, because they're really doing very bad disservice to their fan base, man. They really are, and they're taking it with no Vaseline. I hate to say it, but
You know,
they are, man.
their fans today, though. You know, the only thing that would be bad if they actually watched your video and actually see how Sony was. A lot of them are clueless. It's probably better that they stay that way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
that's what I do when I deal with. It's just like me arguing. Just like me arguing with some of like the comic book fans nowadays. You know, there's no really point in doing it because they're a comic book fan from a certain generation. It's like these gamers are the same way. They're gamers from a certain generation.
Yeah.
So if they saw your video, man, they'd probably lose their minds.
Hey, Unlimited
Yo.
Sega Forever, man. Real quick,
Yes,
he always got his PlayStation 1. This is another thing about these guys back in the day, brothers. Tony worked for a electric company, like with TVs and electronic. And the dude he knew there always modded his PlayStation 1. Every game he had was burned. He never had an original game, and he kept getting it remodded again because the shit kept burning out, the chips. So he never owned an original copy, guys, of a PlayStation game. They were all burned games. Every last one. His PlayStations were always modded. He said, "Oh man, the only thing that I hate about this is that if the chip burns out, man, I'll have to get it modded again." So in a way, he wasted a lot of money getting that thing re-chipped again because he didn't want to pay for the games. He always had burnt games. Every last game were burnt, all of them. He had a ton of games. They were all burnt, man. They were modding those things back then, making, Sony, man. I mean, that's actually the hacker box. You know what I mean? It's actually the hacker box. Every Sony PlayStation has been compromised.
That's why every time every time I hear them talk about how many bazillion consoles they sold of PS2 and PS3, the first thing that pops in my mind is how many of those people burn games.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it myself, dude. Before I started off with the foreign stuff, okay, can't understand. And then some of the off kind of games. But when they started doing Pocket Fighter and then what was it called? Street Fighter, the 3D one they had. When those games became easy to
Street Fighter
play,
EX.
it was over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Street Fighter 3D.
I mean, he even had this underground game, Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
It actually was. It was like a rated X. I forgot the name of the game. It didn't actually come out. It was on a black market. It was a PlayStation game, and it was way more violent than Mortal Kombat. I forgot the name of the game, but it was. I mean, it was like almost X-rated, like fighting game, like type game. I forgot the name of that game. I think Hebot would know, but it was actually, it never came out. It was too graphical to actually release, a physical copy of the game to like the public. And his friend actually got him this game. It was some black market, like burnt game he burnt for him. It was very, very like sick and brutal, bro.
It was like a Mortal Kombat, almost Mortal Kombat, like thrill or something like that.
I think it was called Thrill Kill.
Yeah, Thrill Kill.
I think it was called Thrill Kill or something like that. And that game was, I watched him play it Unlimited. I'm like, man, this game is fucking brutal. Fuck, it's way worse than Mortal Kombat, man.
It's crazy that a game was banned back then, because back then, that's like all this stuff. Like now a lot of stuff be a lot of kind of neutered and censored and stuff.
Right.
But in the 90s, that was the era of that was the era everything was extreme in that decade. And so our media was not afraid of having like sexy women fighting goblins in video games and all this crazy stuff and beheading. That's one thing that made Mortal Kombat popular, was how violent it was. And I'll always remember, because one of my biggest shit talking points as a kid, we had our Mortal Kombat, the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat had the blood, while the Nintendo had that grayed out bullshit, and we used to roast Nintendo fans hard. It used to be so fun, just and everybody wanted to play the Genesis version of it as kids, because they were here for the guts. They weren't here. It wasn't just that. Yeah, it's an awesome fighting game, and it was amazing at the time. But we were here for the violence as kids, man.
Yeah, man. The Sega Genesis was more of a hardcore. It was more of a hardcore system. The Nintendo wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. They did have good games like Super Contra, different games like that. But the Sega Genesis was the adult kind of like hardcore teenager like system because it had the blood. Even not just that game. There were other games they made that had more gore in it, more blood than Nintendo ever had. So that system was more like a more mature, video game system for the 16-bit era. Was the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, they were going for that teenage market.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember Mortal Kombat, and as soon as I remember the news at the time, and it basically the stories would start off, or the headlines would be like, "Do you know what your kids are playing in the arcade?"
Yeah.
My parents were not strict, so they didn't care. So
Yeah.
they never tried to take away. My parents' philosophy was, hey man, if I know my son's either at home playing the game or at an arcade. Arcades kind of started dying down by the time I was growing up. But still, they rather me play violent video games than be on the streets, basically.
That's what my mom told me, Unlimited. The same thing your parents said to you. When my mom was with me, she told me that. She told me that one day. She said, son, I'm kind of glad that you're into video games because you could end up either something happened to you or get in trouble and be in jail. I stayed in to play video games. I did. My friends would always ask me to come out. Hey Tom, come on, man, you can come out, man. Let's go hang out. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna just chill in the house, play my Atari 7800. Just chill, man. I'll see y'all at school tomorrow. And a lot of those guys are actually dead right now. So they either got shot to death or they're in jail. I'm just being truthful. They're either shot to death or they're in jail, man.
Yeah.
A lot of those cats.
It was similar for me too. In the I remember, for example, when I was in school, there are kids my age, they didn't even think they would live past 25, right?
Yeah.
That was the kind of environment that I was in. But it never appealed to me, and I never got into it. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably because the way my parents just, my parents didn't really restrict me from doing anything.
Right.
I want to be honest with you. I had an easy ass childhood. My parents were probably the opposite of most black parents. Sega, man, because the people talk about their mama used to whip them and stuff. Man, I only got my ass beat if I like failed a class in school or really screwed up.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, my childhood was easy peasy, basically.
Man, Unlimited. My sister, man, she's a little younger than me, but she was literally. This is the truth, guys. She was going to funerals like every other day. Her friends getting killed, bro. My sister, every other day. Sega Forever, Fire Boss. I swear, my sister, man, was going to funerals like probably every other weekend. It was crazy back in those days in the 90s. They were getting killed left and right down here in PA. Yeah, and she was going to funerals all the time, man.
Yeah, I remember when I first moved out the hood, man. When I first moved out, and my first night sleeping where I live now, and it's like nice and quiet, no gunshots at night, no police sirens. Yeah. It was almost surreal. It's like, damn, this is. I had to make sure that you know what I'm saying, man. I'm going outside at night, like, is everything all right? Because I'm used to like right in the middle of the night and hearing gunshots and the houses where the windows are barred and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, I didn't have those kind of problems because we didn't have money. So
hey.
Why has his own set of problems?
So my grandmother was old school, man. It's like, you don't have time to worry about that kind of stuff. You gotta pay rent. Don't answer when they knock at the door. Don't answer the door. Go pick up that phone.
Yeah. That's what it was for me as a kid. Don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, man, so my brothers can do their closeouts. I'll tell you a real life story, man. I was coming home from work one night, late at night, man. I was I was a security guard, man. Walking in the dark, was like a couple street lights, and my friend played a trick on me. I didn't know it was him, but I didn't even hear him come up behind me, and he put, this is the truth now, I'm gonna tell you all this in real detail, raw detail. He put I felt something cold steel to the back of my head, and he's like, give me the money, nigga, like that. And I turned, and I said, and he turned me around and said, I was just fucking with you. He was my friend, but he had a gun to my head. Yeah.
Well, he lucky. He
I
not
said, the
in
next
Texas.
time you do it, Eric, his name was Eric. I said, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. Don't be doing no shit like this. Was in '96 when motherfuckers was getting killed like crazy.
Yeah.
And he bought me a drink in the bar, but I honestly thought my life was going to end that night. That's real talk.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was him. You know what I mean? But he was playing it. I said, don't you ever do that again, man. Play too much.
Hey, look, man. I was robbed when I was like 22, Sega man. I got robbed once, and that next day I bought a gun. I was like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't go. I couldn't be that helpless ever again, man. So if you want to know my stance on gun control,
there's a lot of people changing their minds about that, dude.
You have to. You have to, especially today. I mean, I own something. It's just for house protection, but you have to. You have to, man. I hate to say that, but you kind of have to today, because all these drug addicts, opioids, and all these, they don't care. You can live in a rich neighborhood. You can live in a really upscale neighborhood. Don't think that they won't try to break into your house or bust in your car and take your shit, man. It's everywhere.
Well, because the it's like growing by radius. So I saw the story where there's one of the actresses. She lives in LA, and she was on a talk show, and or the boyfriend was on a talk show, and I guess the host and the boyfriend and this girl, they're good friends. And then the boyfriend kind of busted her out that she went and bought because she was kind of anti-gun, but she went and bought a gun because what ended up happening was they live in a good neighborhood, but people broke into their car in the neighborhood, gated community too. No, because like because you think what it is, right? People think it's only affecting down away from you, but they don't. Once it starts coming to your doorstep, right? So that's what to me was kind of interesting. Like when I was in the Navy, man, I had to do duty runs. So I just one time I had to go pick up food, and that's the first time I went to like a pizza place. Yeah, it was Pizza Hut, in fact, in Oakland, East Oakland, man.
Yeah.
So I drove into East Oakland, man. Went to the place, and then what they do is you slide them the money, man. And it's the first time I see, it's like a bank where you slide the money, they slide it back. But this was like a big thing that they could pass the pizza through, and like there was like security cameras all over the place. Everything was like all the windows and stuff was all shut down, boarded up and stuff. And then basically you give them the money through the stuff, and then they slid the pizzas through the stuff. And then the guy that was with me, man, he was a cool dude. Because he's from that area, he's like, "Yeah, man, welcome to East Oakland." I was like, all right. I've lived in some places, man, but I've never seen that before.
Oh, Oakland ain't no joke. You talking about Oakland, California?
East
Oakland ain't no joke.
Because where I was stationed, man, I was stationed in
at all
right by the naval shipyard was in East Oakland.
Yeah.
And so, but that whole East Oakland area, once the shipyards and everything kind of went down, and then it became like very poverty-ridden and stuff like that, which is pretty weird, man, because you have that part of Oakland, and then you have Alameda, which is nice, and then you have the hills. That's nice. Yeah, California was like when I was stationed there. California was like Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Like it's separated by one freeway, and there's like a rich side and a poor side.
Yeah, that's how I think St. Louis is like that, and Houston is kind of a little bit more weird, where the zoning in this city, it don't make any sense because there aren't so listen, Houston, it's you could literally be on the same street as a church and a strip club in this city, and that's just normal to people.
A fire boss in Sega Forever, our brother Unlimited is down there with them country girls, man. You hear about them country girls, bro? Country girls is wild, bro. I'm serious. Them country girls is wild, man.
Yeah.
You talking about I'm down in the south. I'm down in the south myself, man.
They're wild as hell, man.
Are you in Louisiana, Firebox?
Oh hell no, not that deep down south.
Wow, what's wrong with you?
I'm South Carolina, man.
Yeah, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Dude, I was in Florida back when it was still like Central Florida was still like a cow town.
Mhm.
That's what I love about it. It was equal opportunity poor.
Yeah.
It didn't care what color skin you was. I fit in right with like a lot of my friends are the rednecks, man. I fit right in, dude. Because in Hawaii, like Fireballs will tell you, man, we ate a lot of canned stuff when I was growing up. That was affordable. We eat spam and corned beef and all of that stuff, sardines, all that stuff. So when we went to Florida, at least in Florida, it was cheap, right?
Yeah.
Like you could get like Vienna sausage for like 15 cents.
Damn.
Yo, you brought up
Hawaii love their spam, boy.
man.
Yeah.
You brought up corned beef. You brought up corned beef used to be like $1. Now it's $7, man.
Oh, dude,
That's sickening.
Damn.
Dude, you want to hear something in
Talk about a
Hawaii?
big jump. Shit.
So again, Fireballs will attest to this, man. Fireballs, you go to a Long's now or any local store, you know, all the spam and corned beef, they all locked up. You know, like how they lock up like electronic equipment.
Oh shit.
All that canned food is all locked up, dude. You gotta go get
Damn.
go to the register and tell them to come over there and unlock your spam. And they
Oh,
give you the
man.
privilege of paying like $9 for it.
Yeah, man.
God.
I used to corned beef that used to be my thing, man.
Oh yeah.
You got like $5 on you. You get some corned beef, man, and heat up with a little rice. They used to hold me down,
Yeah, that's what we
right?
did.
and now it's $7. Now you got to turn that into a full course meal. Like shit, man.
That's a big jump on them, and it's $7.
Yeah, oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, dude, my like when we used to go to the Piggly Wiggly. I don't know if you guys heard of that store.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, we got one left.
Oh, you got one?
We got only one left. We used to have 5, and now we're down to 1.
Dude, you could walk out of there like my grandmother could stretch her paycheck, man. We get all the canned food, and then we'd have enough money to buy like the 12-piece chicken for like $2.99.
Yeah, man.
that greasy. But we used to eat rice, so we used to love that, dude. We used to cook up some rice, eat that fried chicken. We'd be like, oh man,
Spam and rice. That was a thing.
Yeah.
spam, meat, rice, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for me it was corned beef and rice, man. That was my
Corned
thing.
beef? Yeah.
Well, in Hawaii, we make it. We take the corned beef, we fry it, then we mix in cabbage and then onion, and then we pour.
Yeah, that's how my grandma used to make it.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah, I didn't go that sophisticated, man. I you'd be too hungry, so I just opened that bitch at the can up. I just threw it on, man. Just heat it until it was good enough to eat.
The only reason I know how to make this stuff, man, is because our family's extended. You know, was I telling you, Sega Man, about the local girls? Like you want to marry a local girl here? Like they come with accessories, right? So like our families are big, right? So then the younger kids, like the older kids, take care of the younger kids. So that's how like all you learn how to cook and everything like that because you got to make dinner for everybody. Yeah. So that's how I learned how to make all the stuff my grandmother made. She'd teach me. Then when I was in Florida, she'd be like, "Look, I gotta work. You better." She would teach me one time, and she'd like, "If you don't do it right, you're just gonna starve." So. And that's the kind of like when I look at my kids sometimes, dude. My kids be like, my daughter, the internet went off because of the high winds, and she was mad because she couldn't play Overwatch 2. She's like complaining to me, Dad, what's going on? I'm like, dude. I was like looking at her like, girl, look, the trees are bending over. That's how bad the wind is. We left the house up, the wind. And she goes, but still, Dad, why can't they keep the internet on? I was like, you know what? I don't want to even have this conversation. I'm like, dude, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I told her, if the zombie apocalypse happened, you ain't gonna make it, girl. I told her, I said, you ain't gonna make it. She just looks at me. I said, I'm being honest, you ain't gonna make it.
Hey, brother, I'll be honest with you. I don't think these kids, because even Unlimited's old enough to adapt to that. I don't think these kids, if that happened, I don't think they'd be able to survive without internet. I think they would go crazy if their phones got shut down, everything got shut down, cell phone, whatever, because that's the way of the world today. I really don't think they would know how to function. Honestly, they're so used to, having that phone in their hand and always with their phone that they're so immersed in that. I think they wouldn't know how to function, brother. It's kind of sad, but remember, we grew up without that shit. We didn't have. Dude, we didn't grow up with that stuff. We had a beeper, maybe.
If you're grown up and got your ass whooped by your parents, you'll be fine. Right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. But these kids today, I doubt it.
Well, they're so entitled, man. I mean, I hate to say that. Like, I don't want to be mean or anything like that, but I'm just being honest. I see them like I'm working with these kids now, dude. It's just it reminds me how old I am and that I need to retire soon. Because like some of the stuff they'd be complaining about at work, and I'm just like looking at them like, dude, you're lucky you got a job.
Yeah.
There's people and they get paid well. I'm like, not too many people can come into a organization and within 3 or 4 years making making the money that they make. Now, obviously, they went to school and they got some kind of skills, right? But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you got to put in that work. So you should feel blessed. You should be thankful that you can, that you got the money that you have now, because a lot of people can't, they don't have it that way.
Yep.
But anyway, it's a sign of the times, I guess. But, look at vodka.
Yeah. The only thing that I push back on sometimes is the ones who act like 40 hours a week is slavery. I'm like, guys, the reason why we have 40 hours a week is because our great grandparents were working 12 hours a day in coal mines. We have it pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then
you're right, Unlimited. They shouldn't have a problem with that, man, because I mean, dude, they probably wouldn't be able to do what our grandparents did.
No.
I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, look, when my grandmother raised me, I say, when grandma was working, the time she didn't even see the sun, right? Because you have to start work early. She ran a kitchen.
Yeah.
She'd be there like 4 a.m, man. She closed the shop. This was at a hotel kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's 24/7, and they'd be closing up. She don't leave till in the morning time. So like times it's like she don't even see the sun. And I only know that too because like I didn't have anybody to watch me, so I would go there. I'd be in the office or whatever waiting for her till I got old enough to reach like some of the machines, and I'd wash dishes, which would piss her off because she would be like, "Don't do that," and I'd be like, I used to feel sorry with her to see how hard they worked. I just wanted to help her, so I used to run like, dude, I wasn't even like 10, and I was running the dishwashing machine. And of course, when you're a kid, it was actually kind of fun, right? Because I was like, it's better than washing it by hand. I was like shooting it down, having fun. It actually used to piss off some of her employees because they used to see me like working. And they would be like, man, look at this little punk. But yeah, to work with my grandmother, dude, you have to work, man. You have to work. In Hawaii, we call it hana. You have to hana. Like you have to work.
Yeah.
Like if you couldn't work, you wouldn't last long with her. Only people that like to work would last with her.
Well, a lot of us kids back in the day, I don't know, maybe Unlimited. Sometimes your first job might have been you might have had a paper route. Delivering papers. That was one of my first jobs. I was delivering papers and stuff like that in the mornings and stuff like that. That was like my first job. I didn't really stick with it, but that was my first experience actually having a job. I was a paper boy. I'd go deliver papers and shit like that. So,
my first job was when I was repoing cars. And that wasn't long after high school.
Yeah.
My dad knew a guy. Like when I graduated high school, my dad said, "You're either going to work or go to school, but you're not going to be living under this house being a bum, basically, right?"
Right.
And he knew the guy that had the repo company. He was like, "I know a guy that's going to set you up with a job," and that's how I started repoing cars at that age. And I did that for like 4 years too. I did that for a while before I had enough, man. Cause I went to school a little later than most. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really have direction until repoing cars. And repoing cars, you deal with a lot of shit, man. And I remember I had pretty much I had my life was on the line one night, and I was like, fuck this, I can't do this anymore. And that motivated me to go to school, basically. So I went to school at like 24. I went to school at 24, right? So I went to school a little later than most.
But still, Unlimited, that's actually a really that's really an interesting job, and to talk to somebody about that did repo jobs and stuff. That's an interesting job, man, because you see that shit on TV with the repo men and what they go through and all that shit. So that's not an easy job either.
No,
like you said, that's an interesting job for you.
Yeah, for me, I only did it at night. I only did repo stuff at night. I was not fucking with people during the day.
Yeah,
I ain't doing that shit. When my boss at the time, when he was like, "No, man, trust me, do the night shift." I was like, "All right." And then
like you said, in the mornings, putting up with people. Oh man,
yeah. I wasn't dealing with that. Then I worked at LBJ Hospital for a little while, and what made I quit that job because that job was such bullshit. The guy wanted to give me a 2-cent raise, and I was like, oh fuck
2-cent raise?
Yeah, 2-cent raise.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't do anything special. I was just doing the patient transportation thing. at the hospital for a little while. But when he want to give me a 2-cent raise, I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself.
Shit, you might as well not give me a raise at all. The fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
And he would have responded with, "That's a slamming idea."
Dude, my first job, the minimum wage was still $1.85.
Wow.
And then when I got hired, I just needed a job. So when I got hired, then the state of Florida raised it to like $2.25.
Oh.
My first job was pretty much going into the military. My folks gave me the same choice as Unlimiteds did, where it's like, well, you're not going to be here just not doing anything, just sitting here twiddling your thumbs. You're either going to go to school, or you're going to find a work. And my thing was that, first off, I fucking hate school. All right, I loathed it. I was not very good in school. I was not very good academically. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be going through like y'all paying for my school and then have to keep hearing y'all crap, just like I had to throughout public school and everything. Like, you bring home an F, you got this. I was like, I wasn't going to be hearing all that from y'all. So I just figured that, okay, I'll just go to work and just pay my own way to school. During that time, the job market was completely crap here. We're talking about like 94 to 95. The job market here in Columbia, South Carolina was terrible.
I remember.
And you wasn't getting nowhere unless you knew somebody, and that was my problem. I didn't know anybody, so I was unable to find any work. So I decided to go ahead and just weigh my options. Said, you know what, I'm going to military, but I'm gonna go Air Force. And the Air Force guy kept dinking around, and here it is, half a year already went by, and he's still not like, I can't get a spot, I can't find you a spot, because the Air Force was trying to be all so-called premium and everything like that. And I just got frustrated. I just stormed out the office, and lo and behold, here's the here's the other Marines and the Air Force. The Army guy. They outside, smoking a cigarette and stuff. And the Army guy's like, hey man, come here for a second. Let me hide you for a second. And the Marine guy, he just rolled his eyes, shook his head, and just walked back in the building. And it wasn't until after I got into AIT, after basic, that I understood why he did that, to keep himself from being incriminated, because of the fact that that's called poaching.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was the 90s, bro. It was the 90s.
So the Army guy got me signed up, got me recruited, and he was true to his word. I was on the first thing smoking the next day, on my way to the Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Wow, man.
Matter of fact, it's funny. I did my basic right when the bombing happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. While we was out in formation, the debris, in other words, like all the paper and like clothing, like some of the cloth and stuff like that, was floated. Basically landed down on us.
Wow. That's some high adrenaline shit too, brother.
Were you rated? Firebox?
What's that?
Did you have a rate when you went in? Like, were you a particular type? Were you just infantry, or what were you? You said Army?
Yeah. You said what? You asked what was my grade?
Yeah, or like your MOS or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nah. At first, I thought you kept saying you was asking me what was we rated, and I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah, that's a Navy thing. Sorry. Yeah. What rate were you?
Well, yeah. As the closest thing to a raid we have is when the drill sergeants would come through while we're like out doing training, and they'll just basically start flipping all the bunks over and shit, because somebody didn't do their bunk right. Yeah. So everyone else had to pay the price. That one person's bunk would be left alone, while the rest of ours, the mattresses are thrown outside and the trash can is like emptied all over the floor.
Oh no, those are good times. We had the same thing.
Yeah, but But no, my MOS was a 77 Fox, which was basically just a refueler.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
So as far as my pay grade goes, when I got out, I was a E4P.
Oh, nice, nice, yeah.
So I had the promotional status, but they refused to give it to me because I was a permanent profile. And my first sergeant made it clear, saying that I refused to pin any rank on a cripple.
Yeah, I had the same thing because I played basketball when I was in the Navy, and then I tore my thing. They basically kicked me out, but they were shutting down bases anyway, and so I got discharged, and so I made E4. Right, I was a third class by Navy standards, and then I made E4, and then they were like, "Oh, you can't go on ship, you can't be on a fire team, so we're gonna out process you," and that's what happened. Yeah.
The thing about it is that if anybody really cared and was looking out for you, what they probably would have done is just put you in probably in some sort of a clerical type of job.
No, I was already clerical. I was a yeoman, but I had to my next tour of duty because I got a admiral staff, and I was short command.
Oh,
So they had changed the rules, right? Where you could go overseas and be short command, but they changed all that. And so what ended up happening, and plus they shut down the entirety of the West Coast. Shut down, man. Everything moved to Washington, Bremerton. So yeah, so they basically was like, okay, bye, dude. That's how I make the joke, man. You sneeze, they would kick you out. That was then that big base closures back in the '90s happened. That's what it was. But hey, sorry guys, dude. We're like, we can wrap it up because it's like almost 4 hours. I love talking to y'all and everything like that, but
Yeah. Well, you could find me on Unlimited Production where I do the Unlimited Truth. Might
Yeah.
make a return this week, so we'll see what happens there. But then that great show, everyone.
yeah, man. Thanks
all
for
right.
coming. Fireboss, go ahead, brother.
All right, this is Fireboss. You can find me sitting at every PlayStation fans table because I'm part of that complete breakfast. But you can find, like I said, you can find me on Twitter. Basically right now what's going on with me is I'm in the midst of trying to get myself back into game development again.
Oh, right on, brother.
So yeah, I say keep your eyes tuned and see what I'm able to cook up next.
Yeah, dude.
But
let
thanks
us
for having me.
No, dude, but and you can. We talked about this, man. Put it on blast on this channel, dude. This is for this is all of our stuff, not just me doing a podcast. This is for everybody. Yeah, but thank you for coming on. Thank you to Unlimited and also Sega Man. I just wanted to say, dude, I'm sorry I wasn't able to keep up with the chat. I just was having a hard time, like with my typing and everything like that. I don't know what's going on. If it's, if
It got pretty busy and pretty live tonight. So
Yeah, I really wanted to focus on it because there was like so much good stuff that these guys put out, and it's definitely the usual suspects. I think there was one person, man, with the M tag in here, dude, that I never saw before, but he came in, and but Dr. Vodka and Realist, Radiance, of course. Oh, dude, what's it? Dale was in here. Global Pole, of course, man, and dude, they were just lighting up this chat. This is why I like what Other Zinc says, man, when he messes with the chat, and rightfully so, man. These dudes, because they dropped a lot of knowledge in this chat. That's why I was kind of upset I couldn't respond to what was going on. And then I was trying to share it as much as possible, but yeah, dude, this chat was fire. This is why I also like doing the other guys' podcast as well. Even if I'm not on the podcast, I just like sitting in the chat and seeing everybody's comments. And the level of knowledge and experience in this chat is just mind blowing. It's a good feeling too, that we're not alone, that we actually have other people that are gamers.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but Fireboss, thanks, man. So what I'm gonna do, Fireboss, is probably later on this week, I'm gonna do a podcast for pop culture, and you're more than welcome to come on board. I know Hebot wants to do one because we're gonna talk about He-Man, the Netflix cartoon that Kevin Smith did, which I was kind of against watching because some of the stuff I heard about it. But he convinced me to watch it, and I'm glad he did because I really did enjoy it. There's some problems I have with it, but overall I really enjoyed it, especially after he explained stuff to me. So we're gonna talk about that, and then we'll cover a lot of the stuff going on in pop culture. And I'm talking about like superhero stuff and movies, TV, all the usual stuff, the streaming stuff, and all that. So if you want to jump in, man, I'll send you a link and you jump in if you want.
All right then.
All right, man.
All
So
right.
anyway, Xbox All In channel. Thank you guys for joining me, man. Again, shout out to Fireboss for being here, and yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys.